I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My throat stopped
And I
working.
started to lose my voice.
Me too.
So we have, thanks. We have no public here, so we're going to go right on to chairman's remarks. I want to start by, first of all, giving our condolences to J.J. Weldon and for the loss of his father. His father was a remarkable man that spent a lot of years as in the fire department in Brattleboro, but helping the fire department in Vernon also, and he will sorely be missed. Also, we want to send our condolences to Newtown, Connecticut, for the tragedy that they had happened to them last week. It is very heartbreaking for everyone in our nation to be watching all the problems unfold that happened there, and the loss of all of those beautiful little children and the adults in the school that were there. There were many heroes that came out of that, but it was a very sad and tragic loss. Also want to take a second to ask people to remember our military during this holiday season. We have many thousands of military people that will not be spending Christmas this year with their families because they're busy defending their country. This comes home to me because my son is going back to Afghanistan in January. Thankfully, he will be with us for Christmas, but Sandy and I have both spent many Christmases with a child overseas, and we know the difficulty for the family. So we ask you please to remember all of our service people in your prayers and your thoughts during the holiday season. And that being said, approval of minutes for the meeting, for past select board meetings. Ms. Harris?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes for November 19th as written. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
December 3rd?
Abstain.
Oh,
Two
I'm sorry.
abstain.
Sorry, I forgot you weren't here. December 3rd meeting?
Madam Chair, I make a motion we accept the minutes with the correction that Norman is Mallory, not Mallory.
It's, what is it again?
Mallory.
M-A-L-L-E-R. Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of December 3rd
Corrected.
as corrected. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
December 10th? Oh, yeah,
We
have
don't
those.
have
That's the
them.
one you got, I got
I'm
the
still
email
working
about.
on those.
Yep.
Anybody's input would be greatly appreciated if there were any motions made for that meeting, because the audio is not.
Yeah, that was strictly a budget meeting, so we really didn't make any motions.
I just
did.
wanted to make.
We did. We did make
Yes,
one.
that's right, we did.
Okay. Perfect. That's all I
Okay,
need.
that's right, I forgot we did make that
Thank you
one.
so much.
You're very welcome. Todd is not going to make it here this evening. The fire department was very busy with the memorial service for JJ's dad this week, and he didn't get a chance to get everything finished on his budget. But Chief Hebert is here, and welcome back. It's nice to see you here again. Glad you're feeling better. And please come on up. Yeah. Oh, no, he's not.
Aye.
Hello.
Hi.
Where are we?
What would you like to know?
What would you like to tell us? Let's start with that, and we get it out of the way.
Well, better be careful what she ask her what she'd like to tell us.
We're very relaxed here, Mary Beth.
I know Heath did the majority of this, and Sally and I met, and we talked about this, and so far it looks good to me.
Okay.
Something new, a new line item that's on there is the contracts and rentals, and that would be the copy. the new / replacement office equipment line. So just we're gonna put that in a different line, call
Okay.
it something else.
Well, I can't find your.
Sally, is that in the,
That is in
the
the
one-
budget.
I just found it, the new packet you sent us today, I just found it.
It's about, yeah, it's about.
Did you look at the size of the contract, you know, the costing, maybe a bit more, rating, because of these? Is that?
Yeah, I don't think she was here.
She wasn't, Keith mentioned it.
That, yeah.
mentioned that. But he asked me for information, and I don't believe it can get out of the current.
Okay.
Another line item that's new is the VLETs, and that was going under the support services line item. And VLETs is just a database access for motor vehicle and driver's license information, stolen property, things like that. But that makes sense to have that as a separate line too, that's fine. Everything else looks like it's the same.
Okay.
What's the grant match for?
I was just gonna
I was
ask
just
that.
gonna ask that same thing too.
It is, it's for instance, if the police department wants to get a grant anywhere, and it's a 50/50 grant,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
that 50% would come out of that line item rather than the general budget.
But do you, I mean, is there something in the works, that's why you put it in the budget, or?
Actually, it was Keith who put that
Yeah,
one.
that's new too, actually.
He
Okay.
did put that in, and he felt it was, and I can agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. You can't go after these match grants unless you have some funding to match it with.
But that wouldn't be under our line item that we have for, we put in there, I can't even think of it right now. Yes. Instead of here, huh?
Probably not, but, I wouldn't, yeah, probably not. I wouldn't say a grant would be an emergency kind of situation.
But it is, yeah. I mean, if they needed something and it wasn't in their budget and it was a 50/50 thing, then it would be, wouldn't it? Or would it? I don't know.
Well, if it was an emergency need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think-
Because I'm just thinking, could we not cut this, because we're gonna have to cut something, and that would be- to me, that would be what to be cut, that way.
We have the emergency amount,
We could do that, too.
I would rather do it in here,
so they know they
so we
got
don't
it.
see as big an increase.
Yeah, and then if they were gonna get a 50/50 grant for anything, then, and they need the money, we have at least there. I mean, that's up, what do you think, Mary Beth?
That's fine with me, we didn't have it in before.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't miss it.
But know that there is funding if you
Yeah.
can get a grant that we can match it, but
Sure.
Somewhere.
I would rather try to not have that much of an increase in the budget if we
Sure.
can.
So we're gonna take it out, I just wanted, okay. Okay. And I think the inoculations line item is down as well.
Yeah, most of them are down.
The contracts and vehicles that reference the copier maintenance contract.
It's $115 a month for the copier,
How
Which is-
much longer is that going to run for?
I'd have to check.
Any years or?
It's years.
It just
Years.
started, yeah.
It's just hopefully.
Last year, hopefully.
But under that contract, isn't it was replaced as well, too, right? Is that why we pay, I guess I'm not with the same program here.
We rent it at $115 per month, and then we pay for any, obviously, the copying that we do. and that's averaging about $50 to $60 a month. So that total,
Oh.
and it's varies a little, is about 2040.
Mhm.
So that would be-
So is that saving the town money, or is it best that you outright bought a new printer or copy or whatever it is?
Very expensive.
Yeah, I
There was no way
know.
we could afford it.
No.
We went down that road, and we do a lot of copying.
Well, I'm not even questioning that. I was just wondering if we couldn't just buy you an outright thing. What would one cost this year? Say if you went this year to buy it. Last year, or couple of years ago, it was, I don't remember what it was.
I'm gonna guess and say 8,000 to 10,000,
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
It's got a fax and scan in it built in, and we need that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is that something that needs to come out of our budget, or is that something that can go as an article and get, I mean, keep this here, you know, so that, in case that it got voted down or something, but for, you know, put in an article for, to buy a copier outright, say,
You're stuck with the contract.
oh, that's right,
We
yeah.
could put something in the capital plan to save up for a copier when the contract's
We've also
over.
got a copier's fund that was started,
Yeah.
and there's only $2,000.
But by the time the contract's
1,000 that
up,
went in the first year, 1,000 last year.
so by
Now,
the
wh-
time the contract's up, they'll, because everybody else has a new copier, right? So by the time the contract's up, we could, you know, if we know how long the contract is, we could prepare for it and just get a copier by the time the contract's up.
Of course, then it'll be more than 10,000 probably, but, yeah, you know, we could like ask for 15,000 or something in the capital plan and get that already started, because they do it, if it's 15, what do you do that, would it be 5,000 a year, or for 3 years, or for 2 years? And then you go 7,500.
Because we've got a fund for it.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
right,
Technology fund, or I
There's
mean,
a copier.
copier.
I think that
So I would
copier
say
was
you
either a
wanna do
3 or a
Article
5
this
year
year, if you wanna add
lease.
oh, why don't we do that,
2,000 rather than
Right.
1,000, then you have 4,000.
or more,
Yeah.
if we wanted to raise that article then?
We can, or we could just ask the finance committee to put it in the capital plan.
But no, like they said, no,
We've got a fund already.
They got a
Oh, I-
fund already.
I thought we were saying it was in the capital plan, was the,
no, no, I was the one that was screwing everybody up, but,
yeah,
I
you're
mean,
confusing me.
yeah, that's easy to do.
It's a fund that we write an article for and put money in every year.
Yeah,
It's oxygen
Or
to the
we're
brain.
supposed to be putting money in it
yes.
Mm.
with an article
Mm-hmm.
at town meeting.
Yeah, yeah, because we've already got, or we're supposed to have that article, so
Right.
instead of 1,000 or 2,000, why not we put in 7,500 or something, that way we're a jump ahead. I don't know.
We wanna do it so it doesn't get voted down, though.
Right. I don't know, I'm just trying to think,
Either you wanna do it,
or you don't,
or
right,
you don't, and if you wanna do it, then you don't want it to get voted down right from the get-go.
right,
And we have a few
Makes
years to
sense.
save up, so.
Yeah.
I think that's the best
Yeah,
thing to
we've
do.
got to check and see how long the lease is.
Yeah.
Give some information about
And that'll give us a better idea as to how we should go forward with that. Okay. Anybody have any other questions about the budget?
I have a comment. For auto repairs and maintenance, the 12,000,
Mm-hmm.
is that the direction that you guys are gonna go, rather than replacement?
Oh, I was gonna ask about that.
Probably somewhat, if you are gonna replace it. Just a question, cause you've got, my deal is she's got that money raised, and this is your raising.
yeah, no, I agree with you,
Well, I think we certainly should have that conversation.
yeah, I did.
And we'll do that later, and make a decision, because I would like to try to get this budget down a little bit. I'm trying to not have budgets over
That was just one place I saw.
that high an increase.
Make
And that
a
is
motion.
really the only place, because gasoline, unfortunately, we don't know what's happening.
Talk it.
So, all right, I put it under new/old, right? Cruiser.
Unfinished.
Oh, there it is, unfinished, I was looking for that.
Anything else, Mary Beth?
That's right. Yes, there is, actually,
We do that.
the position of corporal, that is not in here, and it should be.
Mhm.
And Sally,
Yeah, we just talked about it, and the difference between a patrol officer and sergeant is about $2.02. So it's about $1 per, I mean, incrementally it increases, but it's about $1 at base. And my question would be, if Matt were to become corporal, where would he be on the grid? Would he be at the beginning of the corporal? Okay, so this is where he would be.
Is that more than what he makes now?
it
Okay.
would be, it's a.
Yes, of course, I would hope so.
But I think
You're like $3,000 a
Chris's
year.
question is if he goes to the beginning of the next grid, because sometimes that can cut somebody's pay.
Come to
Yeah, no,
somebody's
it is-
pay
it
right
is
down.
more.
So we want to make sure we're not doing that.
It's more, but with the 1.7, because I'll have to do that
Mm-hmm.
to the grid also, so it would probably be a little more.
Okay, but you're gonna put a new line item in,
Yeah.
but you're gonna remove it from patrolman?
Yeah,
Okay,
and put it in corporal.
yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
My question though too is, how should I figure overtime? Because Matt's gotten the majority of it, and so in that patrolman is all that overtime. For corporal, will that still be the case? Should I,
You shouldn't be
or should I
incurring,
divide, yeah, how,
you shouldn't be incurring that much overtime now.
okay.
That was going to be my question, because now that you were
That should
staffed,
be cut right down.
that should cut right
Yes.
down, yeah.
So I don't know how to figure it based on what it is now.
So let me ask you, Mary Beth, if we're going to be cutting down overtime, the way it's in here now, the overtime is in with the positions, can we cut some of that down?
Probably, Sally and I could get together and work on that, yeah.
Because I can show you, this is what I've got for him for overtime.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what
Okay.
that's where I'm at a loss. All right, so you and I will
We'll
talk
see.
about that.
Because I think we can cut some of those
Oh, yeah.
line items down,
Yeah.
if we can cut some of that overtime out.
Yeah. Because I know the goal is to level fund every year, and I've done that
Well,
as much as I can.
the goal is to keep our budgets, I've never been one that really believes level funding is something that's possible, because costs go up. I mean, we have no control, look at gasoline this year. We have absolutely no control over gasoline being
Right.
$4 an hour, and it's in everybody's budget. We have no control over fuel costs or electricity costs, so it's very difficult to level fund budgets, and provide the same services. So, but the key is to try not to have increases as much as we can. The town employees haven't gotten a raise in 2 years, and the select board feels it's very, very important that they get a raise this year. So we're trying to keep the other budget parts of the budgets down, so we're not going to town meeting with a huge budget increase. So we really appreciate every department helping us with that.
Well, I think that when we take this 3,000 out, and then when we do the corporal change and take the, some of that, reduce some of that overtime, I think you've done a good decrease right there, so. And if the car, if we're gonna discuss the car, that 12,000 may be cut in half too, so there you go, Or maybe not in half, or just using it.
Maintenance is cost of going from factory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shots Tomorrow. I think we're up, close to around 5,000 in maintenance repairs on that right now.
What about the Dodge? Because those are pretty high, those were high, it's higher, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it's not in very good shape, it's just not a great vehicle, I guess. It's not holding up well.
But
It wouldn't be
the
my choice of a vehicle. I
Yeah.
would never get one again.
But the Dodge's repairs are higher than the Vicks, aren't they?
No, I don't think so.
Or
I
the
thought they
Remax?
were.
I'd have
Because there was about a $300 difference, and then there were more repairs done to the Dodge, so I thought that the Dodge had gone up higher than the Vic. Okay.
I think all I've got is what they had before.
Estimates for the Dodge.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
that's
what
what
I
I saw with the estimates.
They're very high.
got. Okay, there's the Dodge.
So the
But
Dodge is-
that's,
Yeah, I think that was the old one.
it is the old one.
Because there was a $300 difference in that.
Yes, it was.
The Vic was $300 more than the Dodge.
Yeah, I'm disappointed with it. It just didn't.
But that's up for, in the capital plan, isn't it?
Couple of years. The finance comes here, they can tell us in a minute.
I think that was due to be replaced last year. Crown Vic was 2 years. 15, 16.
The Dodge is due to be replaced in
Estimated.
2015 or 2016?
I don't remember that.
Well, that was, that's,
Yeah, it says that, the Dodge is this year, 12, 13. Take a look at the capital plan.
Based on
This is the deed
the,
here.
new, what do you wanna call it, the need year, or not need year, but the useful life, end of useful life. I don't think that Dodge will ever make it to the replacement date.
well, I think we need
Well-
to discuss the
Almost
end of useful
guarantee
life
it.
language that, that Keith had gotten us and Mary Lynn had worked
Mhm.
on. Because there has to be a very defined definition of what end of useful life is.
And that has that.
I
And
think-
that has
Right.
that. It doesn't talk just about years or just about mileage. It talks about all of the rest of that needs to be taken into consideration when you're talking about end of useful life.
Yeah, but
for
if the car
all.
don't make it,
It's not just the cruiser, it's for all equipment.
yeah, absolutely. But it is this
Well,
year,
what I'm
see?
saying is that once we adopt
Okay.
that and go over to
It is
that,
this year. This
We
was the
won't-
last collection
that-
year.
that
It's this year.
capital plan thing, will this part won't probably even come into play, because the new document, if, once you start using it, I think that Dodge will probably end up needing to be replaced because of that.
Well, and that will change that language that's in here that says no equipment can be changed or replaced until the end of its useful life, because it will truly define it, so that somehow has to be put into the capital plan.
It has to be approved at town
Right.
meeting. We can't just do
Right,
it.
but it's going to in the future be part of the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
capital plan is what I'm saying.
If the townspeople voted in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but that was before.
The last year, when you're looking at this, that was before what was passed last year, which was the new
Passed last year.
useful life.
And that was already
So-
printed.
Exactly.
So
That
the
was done
new
before town
language
meeting.
that was voted on at town meeting wasn't in that book, because it
Right.
was voted on at town meeting.
No, I know that.
So that's why
So
it's
that's
not
why the
going
years
to
are
be
different.
replaced until 2015.
Right.
Because remember Sheldon did that whole PowerPoint presentation, and this is if we keep the capital
All
plan the
that
way it is.
changed.
And then this is if we go back to 3 cars and do this is that was done at town meeting, so it's
You're
not in there.
absolutely correct.
I usually am.
No, you're not. But I'll let you have it this time.
Okay.
But if once we start going by the new plan,
Well, I don't
That'll
remember where it is.
take care of that, and it'll take a lot of guesswork.
Absolutely.
It'll be based on something substantial, not
No, I
just-
understand. I mean, if it's gonna be 2015 and it's ready to fall apart today, then what? We're SOL.
2 cars.
Yeah, I guess so.
If we got new ones.
Yeah.
When do we wanna talk about that, because I had an idea on that as well.
Well, she said under finished
Under
business.
the
When we start
unfinished.
talking about the budget, we have that conversation also.
All right.
Okay, anything else, Mary Beth?
Yeah, but they gotta be,
Make a motion.
Gonna listen.
Do I? Sure, we can do that.
For what?
Because it won't happen until the new year, correct?
But we didn't need to do the other mat either, but we did, and it said as of the beginning of the fiscal year. So,
Can't hurt.
yeah. And then she can go and announce it.
Yeah, go ahead and do
I
it.
think we have to approve it.
Well, it's in your budget, so it's gonna be approved or not.
I know, but it's the accepting her recommendation of promoting him, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that'd be a little more public recognition.
Yes. Yep.
Status change than just, well, it's in the budget.
Here you go.
Well, and I think
There
it's
you go,
policy
yeah.
anyway. I always remember voting on whether or not somebody should be made a sergeant or this or that.
Make a motion that we approve Mary Jo Chief Hubert's recommendation to, for Matt Stein to be corporal.
Promoted.
January first. July 1st, 2013.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Chief Hebert's suggestion to make Matt Stein a corporal, beginning July 1st budget. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'd just like to take a second to say that Matt does an absolutely extraordinary job. He's a
Yes.
very, very good officer, and I've always been very impressed talking to him, and you know, certainly the numbers show that he's out there doing his job, so we would like to thank him also.
My grandson thinks he's the best.
Well, then, that says it all.
You know, I've always thought it was really important for police officers to be able to relate to the kids in this town, because, you know, I've always said, if they're little and they like the police officers and can relate to them, they're gonna respect them as they get older, and they're gonna continue those relationships,
hope
and it's
so.
very, very important. So we really appreciate the work he does. And while you were out sick, and I mentioned this at a select board meeting once, Matt and Aubrey,
Yeah.
Aubrey, I'm getting like very confused with names tonight. They did the village for Halloween, and they were awesome. I mean, I had so many people say to me, when you're my age, Mary Beth, you call just about everybody a kid, so I don't mean it this way, but so many people said, those kids were awesome. Aubrey was handing out candy to the kids, and, you know, it's fantastic. That's what a community's all about. It's like,
Yes.
My 7-year-old daughter was a beneficiary of it. So we really appreciate it. It was very good public relations.
Yes.
awesome.
Was
It really is
awesome.
awesome, and it means a lot to the community.
Great.
So they did a great job.
We appreciate it.
Which I don't mean, because it's appropriate, a little more somber, nobody, I'm just curious as to, again, I appreciated Sergeant Gall this morning being in the parking lot of the school.
Yes, that was, my first phone call was to Mark Spino.
So, I think you just described it a little bit as to what, as far as school safety is definitely on a lot of our
It is
minds,
on
what,
absolutely the forefront of my mind. As I said, I called Mark this morning before I actually left my house, and I said, what do you need from me? And, we're going to be meeting, we've done safety assessments in the past with the school, and we're gonna see what else we can do to make it better and safer. And that's gonna be an ongoing discussion, and that's priority right now, make sure that those kids are safe and adults. And we're gonna be out in the school zone every morning.
I think that would be the continued presence. Certainly in this town, seeing these situations, you mentioned it before, but there are a lot of people from out of state, out of town, that do know where elementary school is.
That's right.
Because of other activities across the road. And it's probably not something that, as a community, we often think about it, until there is some outside presence here on Governor Hunt Road, but certainly after Friday, I think it's a little more people's minds.
You bet. And we'll be there.
Good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice having you back.
Thanks.
Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be very embarrassing, yeah.
I'm gonna go back over the road.
The audio.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, on to bills and warrants.
Maybe we could I went, but we were already signed.
That's okay. It's your job, do it.
All right, Madam Chair.
Mr. Miller.
I
Nobody's
move-
safe
I
tonight.
move that we approve and pay warrants 13/G, accounts payable, $227,486.39. 49S, payroll, $14,327.42. And 50S, payroll, $11,849.92.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay warrant 13SG, accounts payable for $227,486.39, 49S payroll for $14,327.42, and 50S for payroll, $11,849.92. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I just thought of something.
Okay, unfinished business. Continue working on budgets. Friends from the Finance Committee are welcome to join us if they would like to.
Where are you gonna sit?
What'd you say?
Is it where you're gonna sit?
Pull up some
you know,
chairs,
yeah.
pull up here.
Yeah, we're gonna move over, Bobby.
We are?
Yep, so they can fit in.
Thank you for coming again tonight. We really appreciate you spending as much time as you have with us. I have way too much paper in front of me.
I think I should be sitting here all the time.
There you go.
Right up next to you.
I like my space.
I like mine too. I like mine too.
Okay, let's start with, taking some new medication or something?
Absolutely.
Would you like to share?
No, actually.
Really?
Let's go to, well, Sally, have there been any changes since last week? Did anybody?
Yes. You wanna go over those?
Yeah, let's do that first.
All right, so I made changes to mine.
Okay, let us get there.
Toward the front, right?
Second page.
Well, it was, but I've been shuffling my papers around so much that it's not anymore. Glad he got it.
Keep using my old one.
I'll do it on the whole big budget.
Okay, then like, next time, we have a date for each. Date and date. Because I've got, I don't know,
I just want you to throw away the previous one.
might be important to refer back.
I got another one
Oh, yeah,
somewhere.
I got it finally. I've just been shuffling all these papers around, so.
Okay. I know, but you were interested.
Okay, Sally?
So I reduced my, second assistant from $15,963 to $11,535, which is $4,428. And also reduced travel from 800 to 500. I did it to 400 and I was absolutely level funded, but I was a little worried about that, so I added 100 back, so my budget's down from what it was by $4,728.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing that, that's awesome.
Nothing from auditors listers, nothing from the board. Recreation would be the next one.
For the auditors, the salary,
Yes.
this is, without, continuing with the same three auditors. Okay, if a new person ran for auditor,
It would be, the 35,417 would be 32,617.
okay, so it's approximately about $3,000.
Yeah. 2,800. Okay, and the next changes are from the rec department.
Can I go back to the other stuff?
Yep.
Guess I didn't see what I thought I saw. Never mind. Thank you. I was looking at travel and all that stuff, just to make sure everybody was done. That was done.
So I can go through and tell you, the first reduction is in the water safety instructor / lifeguard line item.
I gotta get to that.
Before Sally goes, I had a conversation with Seth this week, and, about not giving a 25-cent raise to all the summer people, and he had asked if we could do some kind of a compromise. So I asked to see the budget with a 10-cent raise. Is that what he asked you? Oh, this is with nothing?
He just gave me reductions, he
Okay.
didn't tell me what they were.
All right, then that is a 10-cent increase for the summer employees instead of a 25
Yeah, but why would they get 10 cents more than anybody else?
of the raise.
I mean.
They don't get the 1.7.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Okay.
No, they're seasonal help, they don't get that, only the regular employees get that.
Okay, I'm okay with that then.
So water safety instructor was reduced $100 from $26,995 to $26,895. Day camp staff was reduced to $19,388. That was a reduction of $400 from $19,788. Seth removed counselors and training altogether,
Counselors and training, that's good.
and that was $2,500.
Yeah.
Contracts and rentals was reduced by $150. He took out the tiller rental, so that's down to $1,705. Programs was reduced by $1,000 from $13,350 to $12,350. He's taken out the CIT gift cards, there won't be any CIT, so no gift cards. And a reduction of $500 from $2,700 to $2,200 in travel and conference. And his
What
budget.
do they, where do they go for traveling? I don't get, what is their,
They have mileage
Conferences.
reimbursement. I couldn't answer that, Seth would have to answer that. I mean, I can look.
because I mean, I don't understand why $2,200. Well, let me check the actuals for
Does
now.
that include like for continuing education stuff for like Sharon and Linda, maybe?
Yeah.
Say that again.
I mean, that would be like continuing ed stuff for Sharon and Linda.
That all comes through,
Well,
the school.
some of it is
Yeah.
ADM money,
Yeah.
so let me just peek here.
No, that all comes
Cause they've, so far this year, they've used 1,100.
I can tell you
No, I'm sorry, 1,300.
Some went to Burt Bus Company for day camp. To bring the kids, I think they went bowling. A lot of it is,
They can't use the town van?
Probably too many.
Yeah, there might be, there might be too
Yeah, 'cause
many
that's right,
kids.
yeah, they can give that a
Yeah.
thought, that's true too, yep.
mileage
Hard.
reimbursements, I would say, without having to pull things.
Yeah, no, that's all right, Sally, I'm just wondering, because it says travel and what's the conferences? That's all I was
I
thinking.
don't
But-
see conferences in here.
Yeah.
I can see mostly mileage reimbursements.
Okay, yeah, all right, I was just kinda wondering, cause that $2,200, we did ask them to kinda cut that down a bit, but it's down 300, so.
Have we met with school, on the rental of the school for the sale?
Not yet. We don't have the school rental yet, right?
No, the rental for the school,
That
yeah,
would
we
be
did.
through, Deb Heber.
Didn't we do the rental for the school?
No, I
Yeah.
put it in at 3% because it hadn't been done. So I just put it in because you wanted to pay.
Right. Yeah. I guess we haven't got it yet then, the school rental is in the
No,
natural
you
figure.
got
It's right here.
It's the board, the school board that makes that decision. They talk to something and make the decision.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I put it. Michael. Next budget would be Michael.
I don't know how this got in here, this is crazy.
He reduced his building repairs and maintenance from 10,350 to 1,000.
Now, you gotta remember too, his budget's up, because we put these repairs in his budget instead of putting them as articles at town meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I got that one.
that will make a difference, and I still think that we're doing the right thing by the
Oh, I
repairs
do
that need to
too.
be made, putting them in the budget.
Absolutely, I agree.
I'm wondering if he should reduce buildings. I think he's just doing it, but I don't think he's thrilled about doing it.
The building maintenance?
Then I don't think we should then, because there are maintenance issues that need to
I
be
agree
done.
with
I don't
that.
want,
It's
I don't
not
wanna
like,
cut just to cut. I wanna cut if there's fluff in there that they really don't need. But I don't want the building suffering for it either.
And he's always been right on with his level funding and stuff like
He
that.
really
And the
has.
only increase to his budget this time, actually, or the majority of it, is us. We increased his budget.
Right, because.
So
And
I
he
think
doesn't
that-
normally ask for something he
No.
doesn't need either.
No, he doesn't, and I think that, his should stay,
Okay, so let's not.
I do.
Let's
I
not
was
do
gonna
anything with
change
this.
it. I'm gonna put it back to 10,350.
yeah. And where was that?
What was it, 10 what?
10,350 for the building repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big increase, I don't understand. That's why I keep looking, remember I said, wait a minute, I
Because I think because of the benefits put in here, because of new auditors coming, so there's a family plan there. That's right on the auditors, right? That's why the increase is so high?
No, cause that's, it's the same, that's based on the same three people.
No, the auditor's increase is due to a step change.
Oh, step change, that's what it was.
Oh.
Who was it? Oh, rec department was the insurance thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I think that I have is David.
What about the cemeteries? Because that's up 33%. I think that.
Repair and maintenance.
Yes, I know, and I think that was,
It was for
Painting of
painting
the
of the, painting of North and Woodhead.
thank you. Well, that's okay, because I hadn't been to the meeting for a while. So I
We
did
did
not.
not paint.
What about the
If
Tyler
we're not
fence?
painting, we take that out.
I don't think that's right. I
Oh,
think it
that's a
needs
good
to be,
idea.
yeah, I don't either.
Paid a lot of money for that fence, we
Yeah.
might as well protect it.
Yeah, it is,
Well,
absolutely.
what about the Tyler?
Well, they're both iron.
That's the
Both
fence in
iron.
there.
She said North and Woodhead.
You're gonna
Oh,
get
you
it
can
done
get iron ones done.
a discount.
What about the,
Tyler.
Tyler,
That money's in the capital plan.
to paint it?
That was included in the.
In the thing, okay.
in the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
What one are we going to now? Highway? The first one is actually the second one, which is town garage operation.
I can get there.
It's near the end, if you have a I don't know it.
She does, it.
Next to the last.
Page number 17.
Oh, okay, because I put the pages in there. No, I didn't.
So highway maintenance stayed the same, but David reduced part-time operator from 9,500 to 9,000. He took out tipping fee of 600, and he said, so any roll-off, cleaning up around the roll-off areas is gonna be charged to the town out of town tipping. He takes that out of his budget.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the two of.
Whoa. What tip,
He has a
who
tipping-
gets the tipping fee if they clean it up? Why wouldn't that be
Because
part
they
of
clean
their
it up and put it
job?
into the container.
Because it has to be dumped, so the tipping fees for dumping.
No, it isn't. It's for the cleaning of the area. You just said that.
Well, they clean up the areas and put the stuff to be. and
I
then
see.
to-
Well, that's not
But
really,
still, that's
not really getting rid of that. That's just moving it from one account to another.
But last year, it looks like he didn't use it at all.
So I think he felt safe. in doing
Okay.
So he felt like he wouldn't have to use it.
it. Didn't think so, and he said if, anything that would.
Because I didn't know what it was.
Take
That's
care of
my
it, don't have it.
question. But it wasn't because, all right. I got it. I'm okay.
Okay, and then
Can't come to them and ask questions.
his last road equipment repair and maintenance. For the grader, I don't know if you remember, he needed 6 tires or 3 tires. Six
Right.
tires was 14,500, 3 tires is 8,500. So he's planning on getting 3 tires at 8,500, and then the next fiscal year, July 1st, getting 3 more. He's gonna do June and July. And something like that. And then snow plows and sander, he reduced from 4,500 to 4,000. And
Now, let me
those are
ask,
his changes.
What did you say on the tires? What did he have in there for tires?
He had 6 tires, he was debating it, buying 3 in June and then 3 in July. And we've had it in as 14,500 for a while, it was either or. So he reduced that, and he feels that he can get 3 tires in June and 3 tires in July.
So he'll still get a 6 this year?
Yes,
Okay.
well, in the following. We'll get it in FY 14 and then one right off in FY 15.
And the loader is for tires, right?
The loader, yes, the front end loader is 4 tires.
I'm sorry, Sally, I wanna go back to that.
Okay.
If you get all 6 tires, it's what?
14,500,
So he's saving money by getting the
Yes.
6 tires altogether.
yes.
Looks like quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Unless the grader, that might be for some other maintenance.
Yeah, I thought there was something else in there too.
What, tires for, not
No, I
just
don't
for the
believe
grader,
so.
you mean?
Well, no, the grader, that that amount right there may not be just tires. There may be other work that
Right.
they're going to do.
Yeah, would think
That's
so.
true.
Yes, I
Yeah,
would
it's
think it would
probably
be.
So we may not be saving
Maintenance,
anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But that 600 tipping fee, that isn't gonna change the
It doesn't matter.
bottom line by enough to take it out of there.
How about
Might as
get it
well.
Except
back
that he
to
didn't
him.
use it last year.
Just seems like,
I don't mind giving it
I
back.
think he'd be okay without it.
I think he should have it, and then I think that we should do like what we did a few years ago and advertise the recycling like Mike Quartermarsh did and lower that whole tipping fee for the town. And we saved quite a bit of money that year doing that.
Well, we actually have Bob Spencer and probably Mike Heber coming next week, next meeting, because remember, we have the state law
Mm-hmm.
that we have to deal with. So recycling may not be an issue, or marketing recycling, because there may not be an option.
It would be good practice, though, to get started early.
Yeah, but with the law, the way the law's passed, if we provide pickup, we have to
Right.
provide recycling pickup
Yeah, I
also.
understand that.
So we have 3 options, and I think we're gonna, listen to all 3 options and see, probably bring all 3 options to the town and have the town vote on what they wanna do. But recycling's gonna happen in this town, like it or not, because we have to abide by the law. Okay. That's it, huh? Why is it always the budgets that are the best that come forward? Okay,
Always.
let's look at our budget.
We just about went level funded here. But you know what, we could, can't we say to the auditors, we don't want a raise? I mean, that, what's $300, but,
You can.
But it's principle. But
so let's do it. You wanna say it?
Yeah, let's look and see if we can find a little bit more than $300.
That's 332 to be correct, but yes.
Can you explain the transition return to work?
I was just gonna ask about
I
that.
can find it. That is for workers' comp employees who come back and work light duty. It was thought that it really wouldn't be fair, because within the town, a workers' comp person could come in and work in any department answering phones, but it wasn't fair to that department to have extra costs if that were the case. So that was something that the board actually came up with.
That was last year.
Yes.
Yeah, last year.
Last year was the first time it was
Yeah.
in the budget.
Okay, let me get this out.
We could have done it, but there was no work
Mhm.
for the individual.
What about, like, if it was say it was, assistant town treasurer that was coming back, okay? 'Cause every time I use somebody else's, position in office, they think I'm attacking it, I'm not. But say it was yours, why couldn't they come back under their already pay instead of using, like if they came in and worked for, Sandy for, 2 hours, why aren't they getting their own pay? And why do we have to pay a different,
Okay,
did I ask
I'm
that
trying
right?
to figure it out, but I think that,
Well, if it was an assistant town clerk,
right.
town
but if
treasurer,
okay, so my assistant comes
She's-
back, but she's not working in my office. So
Right.
I have someone else in my office I'm paying.
right, I see.
How am I gonna pay
Then that affects her
Cindy
budget.
to be working somewhere else?
Mhm.
If she's
So that
working
was
for
the-
Sandy, then it's affecting Sandy's budget.
Right.
It's putting her budget
Yeah,
over.
but what, I don't understand how,
It would depend upon your job. If
Depends
it
on
was,
what the
if it
person-
was, right, if it was like Matt, he would not, maybe he wouldn't be able to go out and shovel snow. So
we'd
he
have to
could
do an
sit, he
office
could
job.
sit in Sandy's office and answer the phone.
yeah, but it wouldn't affect her pay at all, because why would she have to pay when he earns that money anyway as a police officer? Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Yeah,
but you
but
would
then
have to
Matt-
cover his
Then Matt-
absence somehow.
So
Normally
would I
that is.
see?
So if Matt was in the town clerk's office filing papers, somebody would have to be in the
Yeah.
custodian's office
helping Mike.
helping
Helping
Mike,
Mike.
making
I
it
get
better.
that, I get it. It's just that I don't understand why they can't get their own pay instead of taking it from here. I understand you have to use their money now that they get paid for someone else to come in and cover for them,
But because you're gonna use their money
yeah.
out of.
What would we do for the last 50 years?
We paid them out of their own money, now all of a sudden we have to have separate.
We never had a light duty policy. We never had workers' comp the way we have it and having people come back and, you know, unfortunately, HR has become pretty complicated. And we don't have contingency budgeting here at all, so if someone were sick in an office, we don't make any contingency for that. So for instance, if Mike were ill and it was just Matt, and Mike was being paid sick time, we don't have money for anybody else.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to have him full-time because you don't have the money for him for
That's
full-time,
right.
even though you would need him
We'd
for
have to
full-time.
pay him his sick time, which might be,
Right, of course you'd have to pay him, yeah, if he has that money coming to him.
Isn't that company emergency fund?
How? It's not a salary
we
fund.
never figured the fund was a salary fund
No.
as far as I've known. I thought it was for equipment and things that were to happen, it really wasn't for payroll.
Wouldn't take long to use that up.
No, it wouldn't.
It just wouldn't,
If,
wouldn't take long to use that up if you used it that way.
if, say, just highway person goes out on workman's comp, then they come back just light duty, why can't they just go back to their own department and work light duty?
They can if there's a position there. There isn't always a position. That's what happened with the individual that brought us to the board.
Why can't we say that you would have to take them back for light duty? But then again, you couldn't dream up a job.
There's gotta be something for them to do.
Yeah.
And
Never
then
mind.
again, you still have the wage issue because you have
Yep.
to have your department manned.
Absolutely.
Still need the road plowed.
Sounds to
should
me
we-
like it's to save workman's comp money,
This $3,500 isn't gonna cover then if it was a
No.
big major thing.
save the
Like-
town of Vernon anything.
Mike,
It's not helping us
Not a
one bit, it's
long-term
to
thing.
help
It's just an amount that the
the
board-
insurance company.
Yeah,
Long-term
like,
anyway.
it wouldn't, it's just getting back into the workforce. Workers' comp wants you to get an employee back into the workforce, otherwise they're just gonna stay home.
right?
And so the encouragement is,
Why
come,
wouldn't
you can
you?
do something.
Right.
And perhaps you could answer phones, or maybe you can file papers sitting down, you know, there's something that an individual can do.
Well, I remember
Just get
this
him
whole
back going.
conversation, for sure. It just, yeah, I just wondered why we had to have the extra, and why could they just earn their own money, but
But
it does
I think
stand to
that
reason.
It's the workers' comp company placing the burden back on the employee.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well,
Right.
no, because it wasn't something that the workers' comp, it's not something VLCT proposed, it was something this,
Oh, not this
This
and
one.
it was,
Board rep.
Last
it
year's
was,
board.
yeah.
Take it out. Yes, that's what I said too.
Me too.
Yep.
Jeff?
Thank you.
Out?
If he had voted, he would
I wanna know. Now, reference copying and scanning, why is that in the select board budget? I can't remember.
Because we decided to put it in there, because it's copying and scanning of town records,
Mhm.
it isn't an individual's records, so that was put in last year.
So we used up the money that we had gotten from
The
the,
appropriation,
yeah.
that was we finished. using
So is
that
it
this
still
year.
ongoing this year? Yeah, I know you had a lot. Yours
So we
done, right?
can't,
So you're up to date.
Like, if I showed
Couldn't-
you the amount of scanning in this computer,
couldn't we just take this
I
out
can't even
and
imagine.
put it in an article? And, or should we just leave it alone?
No, I think leave that
I
alone.
think you need to have it done.
Yeah.
Well, we had it in an article last time.
Yeah, but remember this year, we decided that we're not gonna have 85 articles. We
Right.
felt it
And
needed
it
to be
wasn't,
done.
last year it was in the budget, so
Yeah.
if you're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
it was
you're
a
gonna
I mean, there's some things you have to
Flip-flop.
put in an article, but we did say that we were gonna take that other crap out. Yeah, 'cause no, I think that leave, but that other one, that transitional work, return to work, you were right, it was the select board. So we can totally take that out. We can even take that policy and dissolve that too. Am I correct? Did we do that, Sandy? We didn't, yes, but we can,
You
so
can.
we can dissolve that one. I think that's important
Well,
too. Because,
I think we should keep the policy because somebody could come back to work in their own department.
oh yeah, well, if it's, I don't think it says that though. It says,
Well, it says whichever, I mean, you can come back in your own department if there's something there.
I just
that you
can't
can
see
do.
taking a person that drives a truck and putting them in the treasurer's office to do
to answer a
paperwork.
phone.
Would be interesting.
Well, it could get real interesting. Not that they couldn't do it, but I doubt if they'd want to. You'd almost be torturing them.
Because you're trying to reduce your workman's
But I
comp claims.
think
What-
they would-
You want them
Your
off of
Your
workman's comp.
insurance has gone up way more than
But they
this
would,
would
I
cost.
bet they would just go back to their own
I bet you they get
work.
faster.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
And maybe not shovel dirt and out of a ditch somewhere, but they would go back to doing their job.
Yeah, but this, I think what Sally's trying to say.
I know what she's saying.
This is gonna force them back to work instead of sitting home and, watching
Well,
soap
no,
operas and
you're
getting
not gonna
workman's
force them
comp.
because all they gotta do is ask their doctor and they won't be, if they didn't wanna come back, they wouldn't have to.
That's
Now,
true,
legal
but I hope
services, we put up to 20,000 because of the
we're still gonna keep it out. Yeah.
So far for this year, legal services has spent $5,000 out of $15,000 budget.
Yeah, but we've got some big
Got some
bills
more
coming.
bills coming.
Huge bills coming.
I think that's fine, but I wanna go back to this 3,500. What would be easier for you?
It doesn't matter to me, I'm just telling you how it came about and the reason for it.
I don't wanna cause any more,
What's it
weight
gonna,
on anybody's shoulders either.
what's it going to reduce the bottom line?
$3,500?
Yeah,
I
nothing?
can't tell you yet until I have a grand list.
Yeah, and as we're sitting here, $3,500 doesn't reduce the budget, but you start adding up all the
Mhm.
3,500s at the end, the budget gets reduced.
Okay.
But if
Um,
it's important, it's worth 3,500.
We have travel, $1,500 of travel in here. Now, we did, what did we used that, did we do that for the select board meeting there that we had? We used-
Part of it was
Yeah.
for that, yes. Part of it was
Yeah, 'cause
for
we-
seminars that new select board members went to.
Yeah, that would have been under 11-12 though.
That
Would have
is
been
11,
April.
yeah. That is 11.
But for next year, nobody wanted to.
Yeah, there was the thought to do it again, and I
What
think
the,
that's where that amount came from, to have another select board.
Retreat?
Or a employee one, that was talked about too.
Yep.
So I think that's why that,
Because that was, I liked it, I think I was, it was good.
I didn't go, so I really shouldn't have too much input on that.
Well, I think if we did it again, we could do the employees and select board all together.
Could have it more local and technical.
Well, you gotta, it's really difficult to have it on campus because there's too many distractions. That's the whole point of
Yeah,
leaving
retreat.
campus. Yeah. I mean, I'd hold it at my house, but I think it's important to get away from the phones and the office and be able to concentrate on.
In a neutral setting.
We used to have, Christmas parties and stuff like that too, we don't do that
There's
anymore.
a lot of stuff we can't afford to do anymore. Emergency repair and replacement, let's see where we're at with that.
I think we've spent about 800 now. Oh, maybe more than that.
But this was meant for that, cause the other, like, it was $9,000.
And it didn't, yeah, but-
Because it wouldn't meet the, emergency capital.
Right, but what I'm thinking is, could we take it down just a little bit?
$20,000. That enough for
I don't know, bring it down to 20. Okay, so we say 5,000 now. So now, see, now, we're at
Now it's a big
8,500.
Now we're at $8,832. $332
And now your
there.
select board
Oh,
budget,
that's right, we took out, okay.
We didn't take a raise, we don't want a raise.
Okay.
Because you might not be here, so.
and that brings you down to point zero.
Select board still doesn't need a raise.
You're right, we don't.
That's why I'm not saying anything about that either, because I'm gonna be here, so.
You're not running again? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So your budget is pretty much level funded at this point. You're down to 0.01%, 93,854 versus 93,849.
Say it again, 9,000.
93,854. And last year was 93,849.
Wow.
So 0.01%.
Yeah, $5? Gotta get five more bucks.
Yeah, we gotta find $5 in there.
$5. Huh.
Take it out for me.
Everybody take a dollar pay card.
Everybody chip in a dollar.
$5 out of travel.
$5 out of travel. So it'll be 14.
We'll set a perfect example.
95. All right, so now it's 49.
0%.
0%.
I think that's more effective than passing the hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Where to now, folks?
I don't know if you're
We've
interested,
also
but,
got general expenses. I'm
oh,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
That's yours.
That's, yeah, let's do that, and then I can,
You've got info, right?
yep.
We got your $600 for your webmaster. Pretty quick, before the phone call.
Oh, good grief.
At some point, I just wanted to ask about the employee benefits. You know, just I guess, you know, why are they going up?
Does,
Health insurance specifically.
Well, because we're budgeting for new people coming in, and we're budgeting for families who are going from single people to family plans, which is a huge increase. It's like $700 to $49,000. I mean, that's not, forget it, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's from 700 to like 1,900 per month. So, for family versus single.
Well, also,
Per
in
month.
that 1.7 salary increase, it's gonna increase all those too.
So are there some situations where you would say new employees, you come in as single, and if you want a family, it's out of your own pocket?
We have not done that in the past.
Some places do.
Yes,
Rather than
we have not.
saying everybody, you got a family, great, we'll take care of it. So that increase of about 30,000, from budget to budget, that doesn't include any kind of increase in premiums.
No,
That is just
not.
going from
That's,
changing the plans.
yeah,
And when are we gonna know that increase? Or will it?
the increase is not our new, health insurance plan starts January 1. So we're gonna stay the same from this past year to January 1 to December.
Is this something different?
Right, and then what I have to do is budget some kind of increase for the next 6 months, because I don't know. And I usually budget around 10% for health insurance, and I lowered that to 7.
Assuming that the annual increase of 14%.
No, it's usually 10, I do a 10% annual increase for insurance. We got hit 2 years ago for a 17.49% increase. So that year, our budget's, went up that much, because it's anticipating that is just nutty. So I reduced it from 10 to 7 this year.
is it a good idea to cut back?
You have to be with VLCT, I think, 5 years in order to start receiving
Oh,
benefits, and we
okay.
hadn't met that, so we haven't at this point.
Okay, because I heard that there was going to be some.
Of course you've heard.
And then dental, our dental plan, our underwriting requires us, anybody on our dental plan has to cover all of their dependents, whether they want to or not. So that's how that one worked, so I have to include everybody in that. Once an employee is on, any family members have to be on that.
But going from a 10% down to a 7%, is that really a good idea? I mean, because if we get slapped this year, we're gonna,
Within their budgets.
huh?
Find it within their budgets.
Well, that would be hard, wouldn't it?
A lot of the area towns are reporting right now that their health insurance rates have skyrocketed.
This year,
Newfane just got hit really hard with them, Brattleboro got hit really hard with them.
there's one plan, and we happen to have chosen Avis, POS, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the health partnership plan, but the health partnership, and it did not go up, which was.
Picked good.
Really?
About that.
Yeah, we talked about that
Yeah,
for quite a while.
but, you know, next year.
It could, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna, I doubt it's gonna stay the same again.
So, how frequently, I mean, how does it work? As a municipality, you put it out to bid for, we've got so many employees and
No, VLCT has sponsored the plans,
Okay.
so we go through them and they just update us with what's going on.
with what
Yeah.
they've got.
Yeah,
They give you some choices and you pick based on,
and last year
On
was
that.
the choice year.
yeah.
So that certainly can be reviewed. But you'd have to do it pretty far in advance. You know, you'd wanna be doing that in the summer, getting an idea of looking at different plans through VLCT.
It's a gamble each
It
time that
is,
you do it.
it's,
It
you
is.
know, it is.
I mean, I just think it's important that we know if we, you know, I mean, I don't want us to get hit with a 17% increase or whatever, or,
I know.
you know, if you've only put in for 7% increase and we get a 13 or a 12, I mean, I think realistically we should go with 10, leave the 10 in. I mean, I do. That's my,
That's up to all of you.
How much do the employees contribute?
15%.
way to ask them to contribute more would be hard too.
Contribute about $55 a week.
It depends, a family plan is like 64, you know, a week. Single is, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, like $13 a week.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Is that just for health insurance or is that
That's
dental
health.
and, okay, just health?
What's customary around us? What are the other towns' employees contributing?
That I don't know.
I could research that for you and let you know.
It should be right in
The
Yeah,
VLCT.
Yeah.
the book upstairs. Should show
Yeah.
all this.
It was either last year or the year before, we researched that, and we were
did.
right in the,
We were right
I
there.
think it's pretty average.
Yeah.
Do the employees pay a percentage of the dental as well? That's what a lot of, the difference, I think, with the town, some of the towns is, most of them, if you're paying for your health insurance or a portion of your health insurance, you're paying either all of your dental on your own, or you're paying a small portion of vision. I know Brattleboro they paid a portion of your health insurance, or you paid a portion of your health insurance, but if you wanted dental, you paid for that through them. You got their rate, but it wasn't co-paid by the town. Same with vision. Vision you paid for separately. So a lot of them, the health insurance is portion paid by employees, but the dental and vision are not.
Well, vision's not, I mean, that's hard.
It's not a lot of money, no, it's not, but
My main concern is the health. I'm really concerned. I don't want the town to get hit big time again.
Well, why don't we see what some of the towns around us
Yeah,
are
I
doing
think,
for that.
Okay.
yeah,
sure.
good idea.
It's kind of related, but maybe just a little off topic as far as employee benefits. Do town employees at the end of the fiscal year receive a breakdown places of employment don't offer some of these benefits. So I just think it'd be a good idea to, it's not meant as a hear, see what you get. It's not that, it's just as an informational, so that people are able to compare apples with apples, you know, if they were looking at other employment options. Actually have a true reflection of what they get here. So I think it would be worth, trying to put it on a regular basis.
Okay. Anything else sticking out at us?
We will be bringing this back, we're not gonna finalize this, just, you know, I mean, we're not ready to do that, am I correct? Because I
February, right?
no,
Next year we start in August.
actually has to be done in a few weeks, actually, so it's not very much longer.
It's gotta be done by the next meeting, we started this so early to get done at the end of December, right?
I was thinking, what about from this time on, if an employee is working less than 32 hours, not paying for insurance, do we pay?
We don't, if there were new employees coming on, have to work 32 hours for.
Now,
insurance.
how about employees that are already there now and they're
They're
set at,
grandfathered.
they grandfathered, okay, that's what I was thinking. Now, do we have to leave them as grandfathered? And I'm not trying to say, you know, don't come down on me and shoot me, but, do we have to keep them at the grandfathered rate? Yes?
I would, yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
them might be
Okay.
grandmothers.
Yeah.
But you don't have to, you can change anything you
I
want.
prefer it to
Right.
be a grandfather.
We
Not
can change
everybody's
anything
paid
we
by a
want. We
dollar,
don't
but
have
you're
to,
not gonna
right.
do that.
No, I was it's just a question, I didn't mean to make
How many
anybody
people
think I
are there
wanted
in
it.
that category even?
We have 19 people on health insurance. We have 19 on dental. We have more on life. I don't have a number.
But how many are in that sort of under 32-hour grandfathered category?
Probably the majority because we've all been here. Probably 17 out of the 19.
Are under 32 hours?
No.
That's what I'm asking.
No. Oh, who are under?
One job, year round.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you're talking about one
Okay,
person.
so
No.
it wouldn't.
No, just be a handful of
Yeah,
people.
I just a question.
Yeah, who aren't quite at 32 if we were to.
Now, the $17,000 increase in insurance and bond is due mostly to the increase in workers' comp, right? And have you had
That's what
full
I-
showing of everyone at your wellness meeting
We did it at our safety meeting.
and safety meeting? I meant? Very good.
Insurance bonds. Oh, our general supplies, I'm sorry.
17 this year.
Yep.
Okay, where else do we wanna go?
We're gonna go to, general expenses, right?
Oh, thought we were on that.
We hadn't started
No,
yet.
we
That's
just-
all.
I wrote all my notes on it, but
Jeff jumped the boat on it.
we were actually on
Keep
something
your mouth
else.
shut.
No, me neither.
They found a road next
Right.
Okay, that'd be a new thing. From now on, if you want anything, you have to find the money for it.
That's right.
Postage. Tipping fees, we can't touch because we have no idea what's gonna be going on. As I said, we will have, Bob Spencer and probably Mike Hebert. Oh, probably not Mike Hebert, because that will be the weekend they start session. They start on Tuesday, so I'm sure he's gonna wanna go up Monday night.
Well, when
Could he
are you
participate
meeting
by
next?
phone?
Because are you meeting the second?
They won't start till
Or the-
Wednesday.
What are you doing?
The seventh, wouldn't it be?
The
Yeah,
seventh.
the seventh would be our next
Seventh.
meeting. I'm trying to think when Mike probably wouldn't be going up to Montpelier until the 8th, because I don't think they start till Wednesday on the swearing in day, and they'll have to get sworn in. So I think they'll go up on Wednesday.
We could meet the first week in January too.
said, Bob Spencer's coming anyway.
He
He's
is,
gonna spend
yep.
some time talking with Peter from Triple T. And we'll put together our options, cause we need to be prepared for that.
We could always have Mike on speakerphone.
Speakerphone. I don't think it goes up until Wednesday anyway. I mean, they get sworn in on Wednesday, the first year of the biennium. Unless they change things since I've been here, but, so we'll have Mike come to explain the law a little bit if he can, but we really need to get going, because we really have to have something to present to people at town meeting, because we're gonna have to work on it this year, cause it starts January 2014, which, it's amazing we're that far into the, well, you weren't here, the state passed a law that if you provide, pickup service, you have to provide recycling service too. So we have a couple choices. One would be to have our own transfer station, which would be really expensive in equipment and repairs,
Startup.
yes, manpower. Our second choice would be to have, two pickups, one for trash, one for recycling. It would be very strictly regulated. Unfortunately, it gets regulated mostly by the guys who are picking up the trash, but they do have stickers to apply on bags, and if people have, unfortunately, they become the garbage police, which is kind of a tough situation for them to be in. And then our third choice is pay as you go. Those are really the only three choices we have to, abide by the law. So, we're gonna have Bob Spencer, who is our, Wyndham Waste Management, Solid Waste, whatever it is, representative here, and we're gonna go through these options and, maybe even set up a committee, and that committee can report at town meeting as to what our options are, and the voters can take a vote.
I had a fellow call me last week about this, and he said that he asked whether it would be maybe cheaper for the town to invest at least $75 per household to help people buy a trash compactor. And that way you obviously have less and less and less.
But they charge by weight, not by volume.
Yeah. Yeah, tipping fees are by weight.
So you're still gonna weigh the same?
I know, but if you went pay per bag, you would only have like 1 or 2 bags to pay for, you know what I mean? Or, because it would crush it right down to the 1 bag, because he did say he has to buy his own bags anyway because of the compactor, but, he only has 1 bag per month or something, quite ridiculous
But
like
if you
that.
recycle, you have a whole lot less.
About every 2 weeks.
Very true.
2 people, 1 bag.
But the point behind all of this is to force recycling.
Mhm.
And
Very low.
Yeah,
even
very
if you
true.
have a compactor,
Encourage.
I mean, you can throw everything in a compactor and just squish it down and not recycle it, so.
Well, that's true
The whole
too, yeah.
point for this law is to force people
I
to
don't
recycle.
Well, I did,
encourage.
yeah,
No, force.
I thought it
It's
was,
not an encouragement, it's a force.
yeah.
When they pass a law making it mandatory, it's a force.
Well, I mean, it was a good suggestion. If you were gonna do that, then perhaps to, paper bag would be maybe cheaper to.
Yeah, but then you get into having to pay repair costs for the compactors when they break down, and
There is a
One-time
wrinkle on
gift.
pay-as-you-go where instead of just sort of, stopping all the pickup and saying now you're paying for it, is that you give everybody a certain amount of bags. You say you get 52 bags, 1 bag a week. If you can't fit it in there, well, then you gotta come and buy some more bags. But, it doesn't have to be pay from bag number 1.
Right,
Because if you do that, then you're gonna find the trash in the woods.
in the woods, and we talked about that, last meeting when they were here,
You're
because
already
that is a
finding
huge
it there.
concern, that,
Go right up
Um,
there.
that's exactly what some people will do, is throw their trash
Did
right
you
over the bank.
go up and look?
No, I have seen it before, a lot of Broadway too.
Yeah.
So, we did discuss that, and the town would provide one or 2 bags, and that would be up to a town vote as to how they wanted to handle it, but that is just one of our options. I don't see us being able to afford our own transfer station, and where are we gonna put it, So that, although it's an option, may not be a very feasible option. So, we'll set up a committee and have the committee investigate it a little bit more, and hopefully Bob will chair the committee so that he's got that much knowledge in waste
Mm.
management.
Yeah,
And,
it's good that he's here.
we'll make a proposal to the town. But we really, I don't think we can touch that budget because, well, number one, it's really what it cost us last year anyway, but, we have no idea what, we may have to increase it.
I don't think we should touch that.
No.
And I think that, this whole budget is pretty much, we don't really have a choice. We really don't. Now,
Why
the
did
county tax,
postage go up so much?
I don't know.
Why did one go up?
Postage.
Yeah.
Cause stamps went up?
Roughly at that time.
Yeah. Well,
And don't you
we-
get your stamps offline? I'm sorry, Patty. Shouldn't just speak up.
Go ahead.
I just want, you get stamps offline, am I correct? Online, I mean.
Well, could we bring postage back down to 3,500? Vermont League is a city and towns, that's our dues, right?
Dues and subscriptions.
That's, well,
Well,
could you tell them, Sandy, to be more frugal and stop increasing the prices, please?
can I, ask a question about the, county tax? You haven't got the county tax amount, that always comes after town meeting, am I correct? Or maybe just before? Is that what?
After July 1st.
So when we put 14,000 in it, that actually is subject to change, right? As a, okay, I didn't know, I couldn't remember if it was before, just before or after.
I don't think anybody ever goes to their meetings.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know.
I never went either. I've never been.
Okay, technology upgrades, we get the $1,500. Contracts, maintenance, and repair went up less than 500. What do you think? Where are we there?
I think that we can't touch this book.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
What about going up to the top and where it says secretary's floaters?
Yeah.
We talked about that, I think, at a couple budget meetings ago. Those are for the committees, right? And it
Absolutely.
looks like only $26 was spent, but you still have $1,000 in for next year.
Well, I don't
Can
think
you
a lot of committees realize that their they can,
But they seem to be functioning, so can you just knock that one out?
Well, some of them do. I'm trying to find what we've spent this year.
On floaters?
floaters.
Well, we could do that, although planning committee has.
They have me.
They have one.
They have me.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's take it out.
That doesn't go under there, right?
Voters.
It's in planning's
Yeah.
budget, it's,
Planning put it in because they needed more clerical help.
yeah,
They-
Steve stepped down, that's why.
And plus, they were just overwhelmed.
Isn't he
with it.
back?
It is
No, he
hot.
didn't want to take it back, I tried to give it back.
Is anybody hot?
Yeah.
We turn
Uh,
this
yeah.
heat down? Yep.
I think we should have something in there.
I do too.
If someone's willing to do the minutes, we should compensate.
I think they should.
I think
All right,
it's-
let's change it to 500 then.
You're gonna leave webmaster in.
So we've got 1,000 off of this budget.
Is advertising for, like, bids?
500.
So they all run through the select boards, they don't go by department? So that would be bids and ordinances, would it be ordinances? Any,
What's-
Legal notices and.
okay.
Advertising.
Can we go to telephone?
Let's go to telephone. I'm waiting for this good news.
I thought you had a webmaster one.
It's on here, $600.
I know, but we found the money.
We found the money from the telephone budget.
I
In the police department.
This, I'll just send these around. Could you just pass those around, Bobby? Thanks. This is,
why the police department?
this is one of the things that Comcast, we've been talking to Comcast about. They replicated, they took the actuals from last year after bugging Sally for half a day, getting bills and account numbers, to do exactly what we have now, what the town has now, but using all Comcast. And that will give you telephone, all of your internet, plus cable TV just gets thrown into that pot. The total is the $1,300, $217.40, as opposed to the $14,400 that you were paying last year. Now that can also, Mary Lynn and I will talk to the Comcast people again tomorrow and see if we can get that down further, because they said we can change some lines around and probably get another $500 or so out of that.
The $600 I was talking about, when you call the police department,
Right.
the town resident dials 254. That goes to a ghost number that is answered at the dispatch.
State police, correct?
Yes, the town pays for that long distance because that is a long distance number.
That's ridiculous.
And it averages $50-ish a month. So by having Comcast, it would cut out that long distance charge. $50 a month, $600 a year.
There's your
Wow.
webmaster.
There's your webmaster.
And again,
So
some of
that's
these,
600 out pretty quick. But
yeah. Some
the
of
one-
these.
The one problem was the rec department,
Mm.
because they have 2 locations on a phone,
On one line.
on one line. So that brought it up a little bit.
That brought it up by about $1,000 actually, because they have the same lines that ring at the pool in the summer and at the school the rest of the year. So that's
No, actually, they have, it's all year round.
Right, right. But it
It's not
brings-
just summertime.
right, but
No,
it's
no.
2 separate locations is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. So
right,
that brought it up by $1,000.
Right.
Okay.
We might wanna ask them too, that if we took it out of this combined thing, what it might be separately. It might be a savings.
Oh, I think it definitely would be.
Just putting them, taking it out of the group and having it separate.
We could absolutely
But
do
still
that.
under Comcast and see how much difference that would make. We could ask her that.
Sure.
What if they had a number for summer at the pool and another number for winter at the school?
Cause they go back and forth.
Yeah,
'Cause
'cause
they're
they're-
over there in the spring and they're sometimes over there in the,
Well, yeah, but they'd have it there year round. It would just be 2 different numbers.
You could do that. Would be a lot cheaper.
That's true.
Well, it could be in the directory as
Please.
recreation
Right.
department.
Good.
School
You could do
phone,
that too.
Recreation
Yep.
department, school. So that it could be, I mean, there are people who
give them
still
a
use,
second line.
phone books, still look up phone numbers.
Yeah.
And then not have the 2 separate, and then I would
Yep.
go back down.
We can ask her the 2
Because I think if you did that, then we could put the recreation department actual landlines back up in the select board. It won't matter because it's going to be one master account anyway. It won't be allocated to 57,000 bills that Sally has
So
to
that
deal
would
with
save
now.
everybody on their phones.
Yeah, that would save.
I'll save the internet too, internet.
Oh, yeah, the
Cable.
internet charges, anybody who's got an internet charge on their budget, that just comes out. And what it gives you for the whole town offices building, since you have so many modem lines, the modem lines can come out as well, and they're gonna give you a way bump up in your internet speed. So you will get the absolute premium internet speed that will encompass the whole building. And they took, the police are on a whole separate
secure mode.
secure modem that,
They should be, are they now?
oh, they have to be.
Yeah.
Yes, they have to be. And the only thing it doesn't include is the EOC, because apparently that's paid for very differently somehow. So they just decided to leave that one alone, because that scared Comcast.
I don't blame them. Yeah.
So the least that we're gonna the least that we'll save is
Right.
the $1,182.60.
Wow.
We can probably bring more.
I still think that's significant.
We can
That's an awesome
probably
job.
say more than that, but that was just.
Thank you both very much.
Yes,
for doing all
absolutely,
of this
awesome
work.
job.
I think select boards have been talking about this for 10 years, and it's, one of those
It's
finally
finding the time.
set down in our face.
And it's
That's-
clear how it happened, people needed a new phone, they got a new phone, it wasn't, nobody said, let's spend a lot more money, but there's no reason why it can't be.
I think this is absolutely fantastic.
No, there is
think
no
we should go
internet
with
line
that.
item in anything.
Does the highway, do they use 2 phone lines?
Nobody pays for it.
They've got 2 phone lines assigned, I don't know if they use them or not.
Because I've
Because
only known of one.
if we took one out, that would also save some more money. See, I just went by what we had right now, because I just don't know. But
Could
that's a
talk to
thought.
David and see.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What was that? I missed that.
One thing in our general
Seeing if we
budget,
could
right,
take
or
one of the
under
phone
select
lines
board.
out,
That would be under the board.
Maybe
the
the,
highway department.
maybe at the fire department as well, because
What do you need
Yeah,
to?
because
hardly anybody ever calls the fire
Yeah.
department.
And if the-
Right,
Oh,
they're
really?
gonna call the police department,
Okay.
Yeah,
dispatch the
they
fire
call-
department,
okay.
They
right?
call
Or mutual
dispatch.
aid.
computer's completely
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, they're not gonna call.
They
So
call
we-
Everybody's
911.
got one of these anyway, if they
And
need to
then-
make a phone call.
Right.
Minimum.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you might be able to reduce
To
that.
get
by a
another one out of
phone
here
line.
too?
Yeah, see,
Okay.
look at that.
So I'll ask Todd.
Rec alone is 2,500, you know, but it went down to 2,000, but
So
if
then we're
you-
gonna try to
if you,
separate out.
If you took. if
This
you
one,
took
we'll
talk
lines
to them
and
about
you
changing
dropped it
this
down
one
to
around.
Correct?
Okay. Thank you both very much.
Sure,
Yeah,
and we'll
awesome
continue.
job, thank
Now,
you.
the only thing that she did say was that these numbers are only valid and through the end of the year. We don't know what next year is gonna look like, but we'll get with her tomorrow and see if she can give us a ballpark as to what,
We don't meet again until the 7th.
right.
So if these numbers are only valid till the end of the year, we couldn't
They're
make a
no good to
decision on
us.
this until January 7th.
I will push her to get an extension for that. I mean, this is, it's a.
Yeah, if they want our business for, that's $13,000, if they want our business, they do it for another year. Yeah, because not under general supplies, it would go under select board, a line item for telephone.
Excuse me.
And everybody else's telephones would come out. Do they have internet? They don't have a separate line item for internet, do they?
No, fire, we had just asked that, fire and highway
Oh.
have it in their utilities part of their budget that they pay for, they're the only ones who pay for it, nobody in the town office pays for internet right now. So, but that cost will come out of,
Well, think about the savings to replace any modems and all that. Have you ever seen Sandy's office full of all those things? I mean, that would be awesome. More room for knickknacks. Oh, guess it wouldn't be for knickknacks, then, would it?
all right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Let's go to planning committee. They didn't come in with anything, huh?
I think we voted that last meeting to do, I forget what, decrease.
Yeah, but I can't remember what.
In the Wyndham Regional Planning?
No, it was,
I don't think they can, the one that we do that.
390.
Yeah, I thought it's cost.
let's
Well,
see.
There should be, he should know at some point.
Yeah.
He should have
Exact
a more
cost.
fixed figure,
Mm-hmm.
so he knows.
Clerical assistants, no. Professional assistants. And supplies and postage are the only three
Maybe
that
they're
are.
gonna take 50 out of,
No, we voted to take $100.
okay, so let's take $100 out of their
I
budget.
don't remember
And they
exactly.
can, they
They
can let you
can-
know where.
Okay, so it'd be 4, 9, 7, 3, 9.
School rental, again, that's really not up to us.
No.
Seniors van. And they didn't come in with any decreases, huh?
No.
Huh, I'm really surprised.
Well, what do we say?
How about, oh boy, go ahead, you say it, Bobby, you're leaving. Save 500 out of their gas.
Well, maybe we could split the difference in their gas.
Well, they kinda did, they budgeted.
Instead of giving them 3,000, oh wait, I was looking at the wrong line.
Yeah, but the thing is that,
Gas prices went up, I would think leave it at 3.
I think that's what we had decided anyway,
And then
but,
cut it.
but the thing is that,
Key away.
huh?
So take the key, when they hit 3, take the key away.
Well, what are
Right, they
the
overspent it
activities?
$1,100 the last
Yeah,
time.
what are the activities?
That's money we give them a check. They deposit it into their account and then they do what they want to.
That might be their turkey dinner, Christmas party,
They've been getting that for a long time.
yes,
So we shouldn't probably touch that.
I wouldn't.
So the main
The
increase is the
being
driver.
higher.
Well, that's
the raise.
increase everywhere.
That's the
But,
raise.
right, that's the raise, and,
Sure.
and the gas prices has gone up, what can they take, we haven't got nothing to take,
So there's nothing there.
there is nothing.
They got
Okay,
three
but-
line items.
But every department needs to know, when they've come to the end of whatever that line item is, that's
Yeah.
it. They're not taking it from somewhere else, they're not overspending their budgets. When they're done. So all these departments need to make sure that they're really keeping track of where they are.
Yeah, because their actual was, $1,183 overspent with their gas.
The board discussed reducing the amount of trips to cut down on the fuel cost and/or charging a small fee for those trips to offset the fuel cost. That's what
Yeah,
you
we
had
discussed
discussed
that
before.
last time, too.
Yeah.
I think they just quarterly need to remind them where they are in their gas consumption.
Well, I think
Well,
that
there
if
was-
we,
Weren't you
If we
supposed to
told-
send them out a letter saying that,
if we let Cookie know, she'll keep track of
Yeah.
that.
yeah, she's very
Sure.
good at
Oh, I
it.
don't mean just Cookie, I'm
No,
talking about
everybody.
No,
Oh,
I
you're
meant
right.
just
She'll
for
keep
their
track of it
budget.
and-
She'll know.
Weren't we supposed to have Katrina send out a letter to everybody, a memo to the department heads stating that if you have 5,000 in your budget, you are not to go over 5,000 in your budget, no matter what it is?
I might have done that, I might not have, I'll check.
I think that we.
But since we're doing the budget process, it would
Yeah.
not be a bad thing.
Okay, historian South School, they really don't have, they have the building repair and maintenance, but that's for the windows, and those need to be done, or we're not gonna have South School.
Right.
So, they're all set.
Yep.
They actually came, a lot of that came out of Mike's budget, right?
Yes.
Yes, that all came
All
out,
came
Mike's.
out of Mike's budget.
Yep.
Didn't increase.
He never does anyway.
Okay, fire department, we're gonna do next meeting.
You skipped the newspaper.
I just don't have it.
And
Fire department's gonna do next week.
Yeah.
Can I just ask on the rescue operating budget, has that been submitted, has that come through? It did come,
Do you mean as what they propose?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, other public safety? Health
That's-
officer, that's,
That's cut way down
Yeah.
already. How come we took sewer officer out? We don't have one?
There isn't one.
The sewer goes with the state.
State now, yeah, but we still use Mark Snow, don't we? I mean, as far as,
He's
he's
the
an
health
officer.
still.
it's just Alva, okay.
okay, police department.
Does he submit for, travel?
Let's do the town
Mileage?
clerk's office first, and do the police department last.
Yeah, we have, okay. Say what again?
Town clerk.
Town clerk? It's already cut.
Really nothing, huh? I don't know, but that's because we have a decrease in salary too.
And we took, oh no, we took the intern out, yeah, we took the intern out.
Okay.
You should
just have assistant town clerk instead of assistant town clerk 1 and 2? I think it should be under 1.
And just combine the amount.
How come?
Because then if the next clerk decides, okay, I want someone in for 4 hours in the morning, and someone else in 4 hours in the afternoon, and someone else do the recording for it. Clerks have someone that does recording. And that wouldn't have to say, oh, the assistant town clerk assistants.
I don't like that idea. I like it open and right out front, right,
So
so
what is
1
it-
and 2.
What does the next clerk do when she says, I want to separate them? What he says,
Wants to separate what?
he wants to have part-timers instead of full-timers.
Well, then it would come out of, I don't get 1 and 2 anyway, but I think that, I thought it was an assistant town clerk number 2. I thought you had 1 assistant, and then you had, I don't know, some helper or something. I mean, I don't know what you call it, but, I like the idea that your assistant has a line item, and, if it's 2 people, then it should be broke down to 2 people. But
No, I understand what you're saying.
I get what she's saying, but,
Well, that was done a couple of years ago.
Right.
That was done because the board and the auditors wanted each
Everything's-
individual.
right, each
They
individual
didn't
to be,
want, like, Susan's mixed up with Ina's and all of that.
right.
So,
But we don't do that for others.
I was just gonna say, the patrolmen are all together, they're not separated.
Auditors are all together, the listers are all together.
Sally's
You gotta
is
put them.
separated.
Why did we
I
do that?
separated mine because the request was made to
Sure.
separate, and that's how it was done.
Yep. I thought it was supposed to be everybody. I mean, I didn't mean one department over another at
Wouldn't
all.
that make a lot of extra work for you?
It always does, yeah, I need to add more, the more line items we have. the
So
more
it's
work.
gonna
Well, then
cost
let's put
more
it
in the
together.
end,
I don't
It
care.
makes sense to put it all in one.
but
And that gives
But
us-
the
my
thing
question
is
is,
that-
The question is, why is someone's salary $50,000 as an
That's
assistant?
exactly right, because,
Because you put assistant town clerks, you put plural on that.
or put however many there are.
Put a parentheses around.
Assistant
yes.
town
Right, just
clerks,
put
4.
parentheses around the S,
Well,
sure.
This is how it was reported last year, so I can't make changes to this, I would have to then add another one, assistant town clerk. Because this has been separated, it has to stay until it's gone. So,
Why did-
that's how it will look,
We make one.
if that's what you wanna do.
Well,
So 2 went up because of salary increases?
yeah,
So you make it, you combine them to make a third one, and leave that one blank.
Yeah, I'd have to leave them both blank, do just assistant town clerk.
yeah, but who's to say the new town clerk is gonna use 15, assistants? We only need 1.
Right. Well, they may.
I just
So
don't like
that'll
the
be
idea.
fine.
I just don't like the idea of it, now we're gonna put in, and it's gonna be $42,000, and somebody's gonna say, wow, the assistant town clerk's getting 42,000, well,
But you
actually, it's
gotta-
be 43,000, but,
But you got plural in there.
Or you just call
What?
it something, assistant town clerk.
Services or, yeah, support services.
support,
yeah,
or-
okay.
Why don't we just
Hey,
leave it
I'm only
alone?
1, so do what you gotta do, but I just think that it's not proper, and an assistant comes in and, you know, well, wait a minute, my line item says I can get $42,000, and they're gonna fight for that money or something, I don't know.
It's the same way, like they said with the police department, it's patrolmen, I mean,
It's true, I have no
not
problem with it either way,
patrol
I just,
hands.
I don't like it, but.
You
No,
took
I don't
intern out, Sally, you said?
Intern isn't, well, it
Hasn't
wasn't
been in.
budgeted last
No.
year.
Can the wording on that be changed to support services, or that has to wait? All
No.
that has to wait?
I have financials still
Hmm.
that's gonna be reported.
So if we combined it now, the line item town clerk 2 would still stay, but it'd have no
But
money.
it'd have no money in it.
Why don't we just
One
leave
would
it the way
be
it
gone.
is?
It would be just assistant town clerk or.
Instead of fooling with it.
Because it might not look like that next year anyway, right?
But
And then we'll
the-
change.
The idea, if we leave it the way it is.
The next year when
the
it
new town
changes,
clerk, is he or she gonna say, well, according to this, I have to have a 1 and
Not if they're,
Or,
Because that's the way the budget looks,
according to
or-
this, I can't pay town clerk 1 $25,000 and town clerk 2 $20,000 because I will be overspending a line.
Oh,
It's
I
a
see what
restriction on
you mean.
staffing. It's a staffing
Oh, I see.
restriction, by having
Yeah, oh, so in other
So
words,
she
you're gonna
wants instead
increase
of-
hours to someone.
And decrease
And
somebody
decrease
else.
And
somebody
decrease
else,
somebody
so they
else.
don't have any that flexibility with the new.
But you're
term
telling her
doesn't
not to
work.
Well,
overspend
then
each line,
Right.
and that would do that.
I just think it leaves a wide open door for a lot of
But
things.
if you don't change this one, then you should change that.
well,
Yeah,
that's
you
why,
should do the others.
So, I mean, you're concerned that if you're gonna combine it all and don't say, this is for more than one person, it's gonna look like that.
because they
Second.
can't, a town clerk can't say, well, I'm gonna pay this assistant $30 an hour,
No, because it's all.
because it has to come here.
Right.
That's
What I'm
because it's
thinking
in the
may be
budget,
petty.
doesn't
I
mean
don't-
you
I
can
don't
say,
mean to-
okay, here,
You know,
Get-
pick on
take
you,
all this
Sandy.
money.
Trust me, I
Yeah.
don't. I
She's
just,
not gonna be here, so you don't care.
yeah, I just don't,
She's got that I don't care look
I
on
like
her
it
face.
that it's open and in the face of the people. And if it's a problem with the patrol officers that way, used to be patrolmen, they used to be broke down.
Well, you know,
Break
the
'em down
school
again.
never has, it's, you know, it's staff
Guess I don't
and
care.
parents, it's not
Whatever you
each,
guys
you know, it's not
decide.
first grade teacher, second grade teacher, third grade teacher, it's staff.
Yeah.
You know, it's the principal, it's the secretary, it's the staff, it's the paras, so they're not broken down like that. I just think,
How's
yeah,
it
you know,
listed
I
in the
agree, I think it gives more
town clerk?
flexibility, so if whoever comes in as town
Is it-
clerk wants to
is it
hire
an
2 part-time
employee
people instead of a
salary?
full-time person and a smaller part-time, they can rearrange the hours to what is suitable for their office, because they're the elected official that has the right to make that choice.
Combine, I don't care.
How's it go?
I just,
Whatever you guys want, I don't care. I understand it both ways.
Yeah, and I can too, so I mean, I don't really care, but, I do like the fact that we're giving whoever gets elected some flexibility.
all right, I'll go with that.
That's my big thing, I do like the flexibility.
But thanks for the fight.
You're welcome.
Just
So-
as well.
You just
So
came in
however it's
wanting
listed
to
in the
look
budget is
at
how it's
that
listed
tonight.
here.
Okay, let's
it's
go to the
listed.
police
That's
department.
what
So we are going
Yeah,
to
I guess.
combine
Yeah.
them,
So
yes?
what are we
That's
gonna
what I was
do with
wondering.
that?
Okay.
We're gonna combine them.
We're gonna,
We will, but is it gonna be at 40?
No, it's,
3,000.
it's not here, though.
yes,
It's gotta be.
It's broken out here.
that's not gonna
Right,
look
and
good
that's
at
what
all.
they're saying.
Yeah.
Whatever they're gonna do.
But
But
it
it
all
all
needs to be-
together.
Somebody there to explain it, and if
Pages of
they'll
that
just say no,
listed
then they say no.
salary for
It needs to be written assistant town clerks,
Right,
and if
okay.
there's 2, put 2, if there's 4, put 4.
Just the line item to read anything, although until like next year when it goes away, like
Change the
Sally
total.
said.
She can't
Then
change
she
the
can put
description.
assistant town clerk.
I can put them
No, she can
in,
do it now.
I can put them in, I just have to leave the other
Right.
titles on.
And
So-
and they should
So
be
how would
happy
it-
because they're
it's
combining.
Would
have
it be
amounts
the
in from
parenthesis
last
S,
year.
right?
It's gonna be just us.
Well, you
Yeah, that's
could,
what-
make,
so-
make those 2 0.
Oh, it
and
has
add
to
a
be
third
yes, because
line item.
that's exactly what
Right.
it is.
It's
Two of
just
them,
a-
at least
assistant.
two.
Clerks, but you're gonna see the
These
other
2 will have no numbers on it, then there'll be a
Assistant
third line will
services.
say assistant town clerks, and these 2 will be added and put in that line.
You gotta be kidding, right?
No, that's how they
I'm
have to do it.
kidding, I
That's how
know
it
that.
has to work.
All right, let's go to the police department. Okay, so obviously, we have no idea, because Mary Beth said that some of this overtime can come out of here now that they're fully staffed. But we don't know what that number is, so we're gonna have to leave that up to her.
Right. Her and Sally, we're gonna get together there.
Okay, so we know we're getting a cut there. Finance committee, let's talk about the car.
Are we now out of budgets?
This is the last budget we're done.
Do you want to approve the new guidelines that Mary Lynn gave you last time?
Yeah, has everybody read the guidelines from last time? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, cause
I made that one change, I didn't make new copies, but I did make that one change to change it from town to select board.
okay, cause mine doesn't say it, right. Okay,
And if a few words need to be changed here and there in the next couple of years, it wouldn't be that difficult to do it.
Right, you
And I
shouldn't
think
be.
the important thing is we finally have
Right.
something
Right.
concrete to
Yeah.
define.
Right,
Right.
it needs to go to town.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, but you
I
know it has to go to town
think
meeting.
it-
Right.
I
But
think
you guys
it
have to
will
approve it first.
be really helpful.
I do too.
And as far as what you asked me about putting together some maintenance schedules, I'm getting from Mitchell on Demand, I'm gonna be getting their recommended maintenance schedules for the vehicles that we have at X miles right on out through.
Oh, great.
And then what I think needs to happen is this, when I was working on the cruisers, if it was something huge that was gonna be thousands of dollars, I'd have to ask. But if it was brakes or a ball joint or something like that, I never asked. I already, cause I told them I weren't fooling around, I weren't wasting my time doing that, because I was already giving the town a lower rate. I was just fixing it, and they were fine with that, because it has to be fixed anyway. And I think that it needs to go back to like that. Then it can fall a little bit onto the shoulders of the people that are fixing the car. And it'll give them some responsibility. Plus, then they don't have to fool around, they get the car to do an oil change, they find something wrong, they fix it. It's done. And as long as they don't start abusing that, which I don't think they would, it should work really well, and then the maintenance is done. And it's done when it's supposed to be done.
Right, not months and months.
Because sometimes what happens, I think, is they'll bring a car in for an oil change, then they'll write on the bill, well, this needs to be done, and then it could be 3 weeks before they can get the car freed up to go back there, because they're using it, which is understandable. I think that happens in just regular personal vehicles as well. But that would take care of that, and it would make it a lot easier, I think, for everybody.
Now, do they make a phone call and say, just did just did a tire rotation, noticed that the brake pads are really low, can I change them, or do they just change them?
I used to just change them, and then when they would come to
Impressed I knew that.
pick up the car, when they'd come to
I'm
get it, or
shocked.
if
I'm
I
about
delivered it,
impressed.
I would tell them then, this is what I did. This is what needed to be done, and I would retain the old parts until, if they wanted to see them, I kept everything, and then if they didn't wanna see it, I got rid of them. But until then, I hung on to the stuff. That way, there was never any question, did I just make it up, or did I really do this? And could be what they should do as well, for their own protection. And so that
Absolutely.
if Mary Beth wants to check up, she can. Because if you check up every now and then, that definitely makes people do things on the up and up. And then if you do it a couple times and you find out that they really did it, then you get some confidence in them.
Well, I think you're right, I think people that are repairing our cars are certainly trustworthy.
Yeah, and they know more about what they're doing than the officers that are driving the car anyway, because the officers aren't underneath the car with it on a lift checking it over.
And some repairs are more priority than other ones are, but if they should make any repair priority in
Well,
one of those cars.
And everything right down to
Absolutely.
oil
It's
in
the
the
only car.
hinges and door handles is in those maintenance schedules. And it tells the mileage
And
that it
that's-
should be done.
That's what
It's
we
really
should have
important,
had a
yes.
long time ago. Thank you for doing that. That's really what it should be. I
Yep.
mean, we have manuals for our cars that tell us exactly what needs to be done. you
And
know,
when.
How many
Yep.
miles. Right.
Right, when and everything, you've got that right.
Okay, a motion to accept the Vernon Capital Plan supplement
So moved.
Second?
So second.
as amended with the
Well, you can.
select board instead of town.
It's all right.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now, did the motion include that that's going in an article?
It has to be.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we're changing the town
Part of the
plan.
motion? No?
We did that, we did part of the motion, doesn't it, Sandy?
it should have to be. Should have to do it.
But it should be in here.
Yeah, she's gonna make a note to make sure it was in the articles.
this is very good.
They just made a motion to.
Now, if we go by this,
Can't go by it.
we can,
Well, if you use it as
thinking
a
of it,
guideline,
we can use this as a guideline right now.
kind of think about it.
So thinking about this,
Not until it's past the town meeting.
okay, thinking about this.
Okay.
Just
Because
keeping it
also
in the
remember
back of
it
your
was-
mind.
That's it.
But it also was changed last year, remember? So that the numbers that we were looking at before
Yeah,
are not
9 years.
right.
it's in the, it's in the.
It's in
town-
here, yeah.
Is that really what,
It was in the last year's
Yes.
minutes.
okay,
What was
but that's,
voted on last year at town meeting was 9-year rotation.
in the guidelines, we didn't have anything to change the guidelines at town meetings.
Yes, we did.
No, we changed the guidelines at town meeting.
Yeah.
You did?
Last year,
Remember
Yeah.
Sheldon
yes.
stood up and did
We
that?
went
I
from
know
2 to
that,
3.
but I
To
don't-
get from 2 cars to 3 cars.
Yes, but it didn't say anything about a 9.
Yes, it did. That was how we went from 2 cars to 3 cars, because we extended
And
the
that was
useful
in
life.
the minutes
Okay, minutes,
of town
that's,
meeting.
all right, but that's, that wasn't, an article that was voted at town meeting to change the guidelines
Of what?
of
The
this.
capital plan?
Right,
The capital plan says end of useful life.
right,
So we made the end of useful life by town meeting vote.
that was an
9
article,
years.
that was an article. I
Yes.
don't think so.
It wasn't an article, it was
You
was,
cannot change the guidelines of the capital plan unless the townspeople vote for
They
that,
did
is what I'm
vote.
saying.
they did vote.
Not on an article. I know they voted for all, whatever, for the, go from 1 car to 2.
And to change the useful life. They went from, in order to get from
Alright.
2 cars to 3 cars, we included in that article was the change in the useful life.
Well,
They changed the plan to go from how many ever years it was then
2
to,
cars at 6 years, to
Right.
3 cars at
3
9.
cars.
Nine
yeah, I
years.
remember that.
that's what we're talking about. They changed the plan to say 9 years.
You could do that under Article 19, because it's to, the town is free to add, delete, or modify any individual item from the proposed plan by amendment.
From the proposed plan, but not the guidelines.
So from the proposed plan, you modified it to 9 years. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Okay, that's the plan, that's not the guidelines.
But
I
you're
mean-
looking in there for a section about the actual description of useful, I know we
I
saw
mean,
that.
I could be wrong, I mean, you know, I'm
I don't have the
I'm
minutes
sticking to
down,
what I
actually.
believe, but,
I can
this
tell
is
you
the
what you said.
proposed plan, that's the proposed capital plan with all the figures. That is not the guideline.
Right.
So you cannot change a guideline item unless you've brought it in as an article.
You cannot change the guidelines
Right.
unless it is separate.
That's right.
Guidelines weren't changed, guidelines stayed end of useful life, and that stayed the same.
And they clarify.
What changed was the proposal of the financing and the times the cars were to be replaced.
They
in
moved
the
them
capital
out from
plan.
6 to 9
Because
years.
it went from 2 to 1 class.
Yeah, but that wasn't until, that doesn't take effect until, July 1. So for to be new cars after July 1, 2012.
No, 2011 was the beginning
No.
of the year, right?
No,
It
2012.
would be 2012.
It took effect in July, when the new budget comes into effect.
But that's just
So how much
separating.
money do we have in the capital plan for replacement of a
We
cruiser?
voted last March,
Mhm.
2011.
2012, this year.
We voted in 2012 in March, and it took effect in July.
Okay, so when they come and they ask for a cruiser, and now you say, when you have a meeting this year, you say to them, no, I'm sorry, because now what we voted last year at town meeting, we don't go every 6 years, we go every 9 years,
Mm-hmm,
correct?
mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah, that's only here, that's not within the guidelines are still the same.
The
as
guidelines would be still the same, end of useful life.
Right. And we
That's why
can't,
you have the summary
right, but you can't use this summary
until next year.
until next year, if it's codified.
Okay, but this
Is that
says,
what all
all
that was
equipment
about, getting that
replacement
No.
keep it in your
need
mind?
dates will be
No, it
based on
wasn't.
projected end of useful life. The requesting department will be responsible to establish quantifiable measures to determine when end of useful life is achieved. Annual repair cost, out of service time, mileage, operating house, etc. The finance committee and the department will mutually agree on the acceptability of the proposed end of useful life indicators, irrespective of when an item on the capital plan is projected to be purchased. It will not be authorized for purchase until the actual end of useful life. So either way, whether you wanna say 2011, 2012, 2013, the new guidelines, the old guidelines, still have the same things you have to go by.
That
still
had
have to
nothing
have-
to do with what I was saying.
still
You
have to
said
have end of useful life.
that the townspeople changed the guidelines, and I said, no, they
Well-
didn't. They changed the capital
Capital
plan,
plan,
which is
right.
true, I agree with you there, but they did not change the guidelines, is what I was trying to say. I know, it sounds pretty, indifferent, but, so,
Okay, let's get back to the discussion about the capital plan and whether or not, where we're at with it, please.
You wanted to know how much is in there for the fourth?
For,
Someone asked that?
yeah, how much is in there for replacement of a cruiser?
28,441.
As of 6/30/12.
Right.
so what's this cruiser though? What, this is what's in here for right now to replace, which cruiser, the Crown Vic?
Yeah. There's nothing budgeted.
Well, see, what I'm thinking is if we keep that in the back of our mind, but we don't use it, the new policy, the new end of useful life guideline,
Can't use it until then
if we
anyway.
just keep it in the back of our mind
Yes,
and we don't use it, but we're thinking about it.
hey, you can, be all upset at me all you want.
No,
I'm just
but we're
saying.
just thinking about it. We're probably gonna have to replace that Dodge fairly soon, because I think it's starting to really fall apart fast. And the Crown Vic is starting to go apart faster than it was as well. So that means that we're gonna end up replacing two cruisers in probably a couple of years. So why couldn't we, instead of spending 30 grand on all-wheel drive Interceptor with 2 turbos and all that, why couldn't we downgrade and get 2 quicker that were substantially less money?
Well, I think that's what we were talking about too, why, you okay?
I hope so.
That cold has really got you.
You'll get a
Yeah.
good drop.
So I'm starting to get over mine.
Are you finally?
Yes.
Because this was you a couple weeks ago.
I don't know why we need a top of the line in whatever Inceptor, whatever.
It's a police
I just
interceptor.
wonder why
I mean, I
they
know.
chose that one.
Because it is a police vehicle. It was designed to be a police cruiser.
But there are others.
Right, and we could get,
Got
if
one,
we had to
another one
get
in my
two,
car. That's,
Okay, I have one
would-
right here,
I
you don't
think
have to go out to your
that
car.
they would be reasonable and go with 2 lesser expensive vehicles in a quicker, over a shorter time period, so that we could still afford it. They would get 2 vehicles that they could start getting into this 9-year rotation with. That would be, they would have to research it a little bit and figure it out. But if they saved
Interceptor's a
10 grand a piece, that's $20,000 less. So instead of spending $56,000 or $58,000 for 2 cruisers, maybe we can spend 45 and get 2, or maybe even less, who knows?
Then they're both gonna come due again at the same time.
Well, they would, but maybe they'd be a year apart, because may be able to get,
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to get both cars
Right.
this year anyway.
If they take care of them.
well, that's where this maintenance thing
That's
will
one of the
come into
biggest
place.
pieces, cars have to be taken care of.
Well, we don't have the money for that other one.
Yeah, no, we don't.
That
We're
won't
gonna
come-
have to ask
The money
for
won't
it.
come until 2 years, correct? Marilyn?
That's where it's
Yeah.
budgeted for, but.
Well, if you put the money in there this March,
So in other words, you want
it
them
would be
instead of,
there for next winter.
because they have 1-2 more years, actually. So in other words, you want them to put 19,000 in this
The
year?
taxpayers can do whatever they want,
Right.
Yes, they can.
and if it's shown and explained and they realize, and there's nothing that can be done,
I'll go with that.
They may decide to go back to 2 cruisers.
well, they may. But that's up to them. If that's what they decide, then that's the way it goes.
Well, the thing is, if they decide to go back to 2 cruisers, we don't have to buy 1 new car, and then we have the Tahoe. So, you know, I hate to go out and buy a car, and then, well, I guess one
Well,
way or
we-
another, we're
we-
still gonna have to replace 1 car.
Yes, we would still be replacing 1 car, and the money's already there for the 1, but rather than replace it with a real expensive one, maybe we could get something less expensive. That
How
way,
much did they come in for to replace the Dodge?
Oh, the Dodge, I don't know, but,
I thought it was only like
the Ford
23,000.
was like 33, I thought.
and
This
then
one
I
here
was, I was also
I don't
wondering,
remember it being more.
I don't either.
It wasn't, yeah, it wasn't more than what they had,
No,
what,
it
No,
wasn't
it's
more than
20.
what was in here, it was like 33, I thought.
Is it projected cost of this one's 35?
Right.
but then I
I
was
could've-
also wondering if,
I could have sworn it was a lot less
because
than that.
since I've worked on those cruisers, and I've looked at the mess that they make, putting in the light bars and wiring those up, it looks like something that a high school kid would do in his backyard. I wonder if it would be cheaper to have somebody local just do it.
Well,
Put that together.
and
don't
Keith
have to
said,
buy
there's no
Purchase.
need to be buying those light bars for every cruiser, you can take the light bar off the old
Off
cruiser and
the
put it
old
on the
Well,
new
that's
cruiser.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then have a person that's capable of properly wiring these up, do it
That's what I thought.
for
Sam.
less money.
It's just that part of it. It was when he said
Fire
that he
departments
wanted
do
to
that all
keep
the
it as a
time.
4th vehicle.
take parts off
But then it's
another.
Well, I could easily,
But, you know, light bars and
easily
stuff, they
do
have them
that.
come in and rewire and stuff.
and I could do it and make it a lot better looking job than
Well-
what I've seen.
So can I try something here? I think what you're saying, Bob, is that if you look at these numbers, by the time you get past the 1st of July here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these things are gonna accrue up to, and let's say we buy nothing until then.
Mm-hmm.
These things are gonna accrue up to about $55,000 worth of cruiser money in this budget, okay? So you buy 2 cruisers for 27,000 apiece, or whatever, however you wanna divide it up. And there's enough money to do some of it in this fiscal year and some of it on the 1st of July, just like those tractor wheels we're talking about. And then you basically you save the other $18,000 that's sitting here to be accrued in the next few years towards this Dodge. So the whole problem of somewhere down the road having to replace 2 at the same time again doesn't become a problem, because you'll have that in the kitty when you get there. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, that, basically,
The money is there to do that, as long as we can set our sights on 2 $27,000 cars instead of a
Or maybe
35
even-
and a 38.
maybe even less.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe could even get down to $2 $20,000
Yeah.
cars.
Then we get a used one. Wouldn't that be the day?
The problem is,
That would be fine.
it's not really a problem, but I wanna bring back to everybody's attention that the town had voted to go down to 2 cars. The going up to 3 was the 9-year deal. Now, clearly, these cars aren't gonna make 9 years. But even, right, you know, if, like Keith said, idling is an issue, if the actual nature of policing in a vehicle is an issue, then maybe we didn't make a good deal with the police department, and maybe the town needs to decide if they wanna have 3 cruisers
Well,
and
that's,
change them.
so I think that's a separate, I think that's a separate question. First question is, you got 2 cars here that within the short run need to be replaced.
Except for if the town decides that the 9-year deal was not a good deal, they'll only decide to replace 1 car. The reason why we were gonna replace 2 was because we were gonna go back to 3 cars.
Mhm.
So if the
Yes,
town
'cause-
decides not to go back to 3 cars because they don't think that this plan's gonna work, then we only buy 1 car.
No, it's
And we have
based
But
on.
you know,
9 years.
whether you have 3 cars or 6 cars, you're gonna drive the same amount of miles. And in the long run, it costs you the same amount of money to drive a mile, okay? It doesn't make any difference how many cars you have. If you divide out all the maintenance and all the tires and all the wear and tear and everything, it costs you 40 cents, 50 cents, whatever it costs, you know, to drive a mile. Doesn't matter how many cars you have. It's just how many cars you split it out over. So what I'm saying is, divide this into two decisions. One is, figure out how to replace these next 2, which I think Bob's suggestion is a good one. And after that, go back and decide on the whole replacement cycle thing and decide whether, you know, it's gonna be 6 years, 9 years, 7.5 years, or replace them when they need to be replaced, because, you know, we're not talking about tractors here, we're talking about police vehicles that, you know, protect lives.
Well, that's where the new guide comes into play,
Mhm.
where that really,
Right.
the goal is 9 years, but with those guidelines,
It might be less.
it might be less.
Mhm.
But I still think, you know, I really firmly believe that maintenance is a key issue.
I do too.
Well, I know it is.
Do you have a copy of the minutes of the town meeting?
I think she has another one,
I don't know if that, I had that part.
Because I do remember, some things that was being said by Sheldon. Yeah. But I didn't know if there was minutes that can be had for anybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll fix them up tomorrow then.
Another thought is that the Tahoe,
I don't have
that's
that.
based on a truck. It's basically just a
Marilyn,
pickup truck
I'll get me a copy tomorrow.
made into an SUV.
Thank you. Look.
So everything on that's heavier than what you're gonna get in a car. And that may last. I wouldn't be surprised if that went to 9 years.
Isn't that one with the bed frame?
Yes,
But that can be fixed already.
yes. And it may
And it's
not be
been-
bent. It may be, when they're built, they're parallel. When they get hit, they become a diamond. Instead of a rectangle, it's diamond shaped because it pushes this side back, the other side goes forward. And it could be just as simple as that.
So we just-
Because they don't weld the cross members, they're riveted. You just pull it back,
We just run it into
the other side.
On the other side.
Right.
Well, that would work, but it's either that or you hook the,
Pearls of wisdom.
down the one side that's, the one side that's back, and then you hook in the front of the side that's, and pull it forward. And then you just cross measure it with a laser and you've got it.
Do you have minutes of that, your meeting where, with the police department, that they made that deal?
For 9 years?
Oh, that was like last November, right?
Well, I remember Sheldon's speech when he came to the select board.
Sheldon did, it was.
What he said was that if we can get these cruisers to go for 9 years rather than 6
Absolutely,
years, 6 years for 2 or 9 years for 3, then it will cost, actually, I think it was less
8,000
to
or
have
something
3
like that.
cruisers at 9 years than it was to have 2 cruisers for 6 years.
Yes.
And
Mike Quartermonch made the motion.
we,
Ah, thank
so
you
that's
very
what we
much.
were basing this on, thinking that they might go 9 years, but now we're thinking that that Dodge wasn't a good purchase when we got it, and so it isn't gonna go the 9 years. The Crown Vic has gone almost the 9 years.
Mm.
So I think we just need to be careful and look at the consumer reports and stuff like that before you go jumping and buying anything, and buy something that's gonna be reliable. Just like you would if it was your own personal vehicle. Because I didn't think it was a good idea to buy that Dodge when we bought it, because it was the first year that they had just come out with those, and it's never been.
It's never a good idea to buy a car in the first year.
Right, isn't this only the second year of the Interceptor too, I think?
I think we're coming in, we're just into the second year of it. But it was based on, it was based on a already model,
You can have that.
where the Dodge, I think, was a whole new, when we got that, I think that Dodge was a whole new model. But those are just things that we could think about, or we should think about.
What are we gonna do?
What does the finance committee recommend?
I would
I think they
second
need
Bobby's
to do-
recommendation,
Right.
personally.
I think they need to do some more research into cars rather
Mhm.
versus just picking one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think
Coming
that,
with some more information.
I think that's where we need to go now, just go back to the department and say, look you know, what you're doing isn't gonna fly, cause we're not gonna buy,
They need to-
we're not gonna buy 2 really expensive cars right now. Give us some choices. Go do your research again and come back to the finance committee and the select board. We'll try to get 1 car this year, and we'll bring it to the voters to get a second car next year.
Which car do you wanna replace first?
Well, right now, you know, it's a toss-up, because everybody's talking about this Crown Vic, but the Crown Vic is almost at the 9 years, and it is only cost us $300 more in repairs than the Dodge.
We'll find out tomorrow
But when you
what
look
they
at
think
that-
is gonna happen with the Dodge.
Because the Dodge is the one that has now, and, you know, and that's why when we had the Crown Vic assessed somewhere else, they said that car could last another year.
Right.
We didn't do that same thing with the Dodge. The Dodge is the one that's really causing the problems
Right.
now,
Well, what I heard was that the transmission is starting to slip in that
which
Dodge.
happens in Dodges.
Yes, it
Right.
does, and it happens because they don't have a adequate cooler to cool the transmission fluid.
And if you look at that new guide, I know we can't use it yet, but if you kinda look at that, it kinda takes out normal maintenance stuff, so, and if you look.
I think it's
And if
perfect,
you look
I
at
do.
repairs or maintenance for it, for either vehicle, you kinda have to take out normal maintenance stuff when you're looking
Absolutely,
at
yep,
the
I
cost
agree.
of doing that.
So why don't we have the police department research it a little bit more and come back to us, and I wouldn't take like forever to make this decision, because if the transmission does go on the Dodge, that's an expensive repair that we might wanna think
That
about.
would say you gotta replace it now.
I think the
Right.
rear end is starting to leak, the seals are leaking, and I was told that you can't just replace the seals, you have to replace the whole rear end. The
Of the
dealers,
Dodge.
the dealers have
Well,
tried
that's
to
not worth-
replace them,
That's
and
not worth replacing.
it
That's
isn't
too
working.
much. That's not worth it.
No.
How many did we replace on our Dodge?
That's why,
A
you
lot.
know, I think that the Crown Vic probably can last for a little while longer, and the Dodge is what we're looking at.
I think that Crown Vic was twice the car when it was new.
Yeah, those Crown Vics, well, you can't, well, that's why they were such a popular police car, because they're a good police vehicle. They take the beating.
And New York City taxi cab.
And New York City taxi cabs, you're right. And we all know how they do it.
That's right.
So did you wanna approve this or not approve this as of now, or?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Did you wanna approve the capital plan yet?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that's what we were doing. I thought we were talking about police cruisers.
Well, that too, but.
Yeah, because that can be modified at town meeting.
Right, we'll
Absolutely.
modify it as what we need to,
Yeah.
but.
Well, and, wow, how do we do this? If we have to buy the Dodge instead of the Vic, do we have to bring that before the voters?
No,
Because the capital
because-
plan says
Yeah.
the Vic first?
Wait a minute,
Well,
one
if
of
it's
them
an
was 2 years
emergency-
ago,
If
so.
it's an emergency basis, then no.
That's true, if it's an emergency basis,
Right.
well, but then you have to really wait until the transmission and the rear end go.
Fall out, yeah.
Well,
And we don't wanna have to do that.
I think that the Dodge was up 2
Yeah.
years ago. 2
But
years ago, wasn't
But
it?
your 15 to 16 need year
That was
doesn't
changed.
mean
I
you gotta
know, but-
buy it now.
No, 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 no,
Not by the
that's
new
not what I
capital.
said. What I said was, 2 years ago, it was a need year for this Dodge, 2 years ago, on the capital plan.
Right.
It never got changed, so if you wanted to buy the Dodge first, I think the loophole's there.
But
But it
need, need year,
It got changed anyway in last
right,
year's
need
capital
year
plan.
need year doesn't necessarily mean that we buy it now.
No, I know
That's just
that,
an estimate, so even if it was 2 years ago that it was projected for 2 years ago.
see, cause the Cruiser,
Right.
2000
Right,
Dodge, 2012, it was, the need year was fiscal year 12-13.
But that
So
got
it's
changed
that one.
last year, right?
We're just,
Where's the change? Because you added a vehicle? No, it
Because you
didn't
went for the
change.
9 years.
Right, because we went to the 9 years.
Right, but it was that one to be replaced is what the wording says, is what I'm saying. It didn't say anything about the, Crown Vic.
but
Right?
it might have gotten, if it said.
I mean, I don't wanna be
Let's say-
picky and
let's
sound
say
like that,
It
but,
was like 2 years ago that it was in there for that projected need year. Estimated replacement was that year. And everything was going fine. Then we would push it out for a year.
listen,
So
you
that-
and I are on the
so-
wrong
Somebody
track.
said
I
that's
didn't
what
say
they
that.
need to get.
What I said was, and I'll repeat it, what I said was, the plan says Cruiser 2007 Dodge, the end of the need years, fiscal year 12-13. I said nothing about, needing it or not needing it, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, it was that Cruiser and not the, Crown Vic that was,
gonna be
you know,
replaced.
gonna be replaced, is what I'm saying.
Possibly then.
Right. It didn't mean that you have to,
Okay.
I don't mean that in any way did I mean that we have to replace that. It's just that you said, well, first you have to go back for a vote to change it so that you could get the, Dodge. No, we don't,
No.
because it's
No.
already voted on.
But we changed the dates at town meeting last year when we voted
That's-
for the new capital plan.
Fine for the dates, I'm just saying, the Cruiser, you said that we were gonna might have to replace the Dodge and not the Crown Vic, cause the Crown Vic could last, is what you said. And I agree with
Money in
you.
there to replace the Dodge.
But isn't
That's the money right there.
it the need year can be earlier than needed?
Right.
Correct?
There's not money in there to replace it.
Hey, maybe somebody could arrange to run this into a ditch or something and,
Don't
You know.
have any idea.
I'm just saying that you already voted for
public
the, not the Crown Vic to be replaced, but for the 2000.
Been slippery
Dodge.
enough.
I mean, am I right or wrong? Nobody's listening because they're irritated, but, I don't say it to irritate you, I wanna
Nobody's
make
getting
sure
irritated.
there's
There's not money there to replace it.
Huh?
there's
You don't have-
$55,000
There's not
on
money
the
in there
1st
to
of July.
replace it,
To replace what?
the Dodge.
No, and that's where we come back to Bobby's point. 1st of July, $55,000, figure out how to take
Yeah.
care of both of these problems. It doesn't matter what
Just make them
all
go away.
the other nonsense is.
I mean, I see that the new capital plan is
That's
different,
where you have to come back.
but
Right.
you didn't take that other one out, did you? In March town meeting? Did you take the other one out? The Dodge Charger? No. And it ended,
I don't think anybody really is kind of getting what you're saying.
I actually think I do. I
Yes,
think Sally and I
exactly.
do.
yeah.
Because that, what was printed in the book was presented at town meeting, except that Sheldon had two plans. One was what was printed in the book, and the other one was the plan that actually got voted in.
Okay.
Right.
And that's what you don't have in front of you at this
Right.
particular moment. You have your proposed thing. But what she's saying is, in the one that was approved at town meeting, there was a dollar amount in there for the Dodge.
Absolutely was.
That's what I'm understanding, that's what I'm thinking she's saying, is there was a dollar amount in there for the Dodge. And it was, and then now there's, obviously it's not, it's pushed out differently.
Right, it's pushed out
But
differently.
I think
but
that's
it
what
was
she's saying.
voted
Oh, okay.
For that particular car.
Yeah.
At town
So
meeting.
if you decided you
I mean,
wanted
To replace that,
to replace the Dodge, then that's the loophole she's talking about.
that's
Okay.
what I was looking for.
but not replace the
loophole.
Crown Vic.
Right,
Okay.
instead of replacing the
Okay.
Crown Vic. There would be money there to
I
replace
don't
the
think
Dodge.
both, yes, obviously.
But not both.
Right, well,
Second.
like Martin said, at the end, at the beginning of July, you'll have 54, whatever it is,
Thank you.
54,000.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed 2013-2014 capital plan. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I still say we need to have the police department do some research and come up with an idea to get rid of the Dodge, and then we'll make a decision on the,
Now, Rick.
Can I just ask one other question? I know you just voted the thing, but it isn't final yet, right?
nothing's final, but can't you tell?
Right, the last time I was here, we requested that we get a proposal from the highway department on insulating their walls so as to maybe cut their fuel bill in half. Did anything come
I
forth
don't
from
know,
that?
I don't think so, but I did call Efficiency Vermont, and they called me back, but I wasn't there, so I have to call them again.
Okay, because I think, that still is an opportunity to, move a little something around on this plan in order to save some real money on the operating budget.
Absolutely, but I'm really hoping that when Efficiency Vermont comes, that we get some grant money that
Maybe they
helps
pay
do
for it,
it.
even better.
Yep. But no, we're definitely not gonna let that go, and not only the town highway building, I'd like them to assess
They
this
should look at
building
everything.
too. Absolutely, the rec department, this building, as I said, the building that I'm in, the landlord had all these lights here changed, and the lights had originally been put in the 70s, and our electric bill went from like $265 to less than $100 a month, so it makes a huge difference. So that needs to be looked at, not just the heating, but the lighting in all of these buildings too, 'cause I don't know how old these lights are.
Old as the building.
Yeah,
Mine's been updated.
he has updated some of them, but sometimes just those little fixes save a lot of money, so. Okay, do you have a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to, retroactive back to the, motion that we made to make the, road commissioner, an exempt employee, to change that to non-exempt.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to
Retroactively make the road commissioner an exempt
exempt
employee
position, go from exempt to non-exempt.
to non-exempt.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, is there anything else financial? Anything else the finance committee would like to add?
No, I think we're good.
Does Sally have something for us before we go?
For executive session?
Session. Remember you said we had.
Yeah, that can't
Oh, yeah, but she's not part
Okay.
of that.
Oh.
What I called you about this afternoon, or emailed you about this afternoon.
Yeah, so that's what you did, yeah. And you can let me know, right?
I can let you know,
Oh,
and I will.
Why, thank you.
It won't be long.
Okay.
I need a motion.
Motion for executive session, please.
So, from executive session personnel?
Rather the disclosure of this contract might be detrimental to the town and the individual.
You keep my fat ass.
Second, please. It's been moved and seconded to go into
You need to
executive
go
session
on
on a
diet.
personnel matter, the disclosure of which at this time would be detrimental to the town and their, or individuals and companies involved. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna have that turned off and,
Yeah.
Probably both should go on it.
thanks. Don't make me go on a diet.
We would have been out of here real early tonight. Okay. Went into executive session at,
Sorry, I don't know yet. 9:10.
at 9:10, come out at 9:50. No action taken, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we expend money as discussed in executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to expend funds as discussed in executive session. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will take a motion to adjourn.
No media.
No, he said he'd call you.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Okay, here's my notes for tomorrow.